Chapter 495. Old Master Gu's face turned pale, as if he had been stabbed in the heart. Luo Lolly stayed in the car. How long would she have to stay there? She didn't know what the people inside were talking about. To be honest, she had never seen Old Master Gu before. She didn't know what he looked like. Luo Meiwan had said that if it hadn't been for Old Master Gu, she would have been left in the orphanage. She was very grateful to Old Master Gu. She had eloped with a man because of some fake love when she was young. It was too late for regrets now. She wanted to make up for her mistakes. But Old Master Gu wouldn't give her another chance. Although Luo Lolly couldn't meet Old Master Gu face to face, she thought that she could secretly watch him. See what he looked like. Did he have a fierce face? Thus, Luo Lolly got out of the car when she saw that there was only silence at the entrance. She walked into the mansion and crept towards the entrance of the living room. Then she squatted there and revealed half of her face. She looked at the angry Old Master Gu in the living room with one eye. Gu Linshin was sitting calmly on the sofa. It was obvious that Gu Linshin had the upper hand, even though he was sitting down. Luo Lolly looked at the angry Old Master Gu and thought, Old Master Gu looks so dignified. Was he the one who took her mother in? No matter what, Luo Lolly couldn't bring herself to hate someone like him. If he hadn't taken her mother in, her mother would have had a chance to harm her father. She wouldn't have been born. In terms of appearance, Gu Linshin was even sharper than Old Master Gu. I said that as long as you marry Lin Xiangting, I won't care about you anymore. Old Master Gu still said the same thing. Gu Linshin's black eyes were full of annoyance. His expression was very cold. Luo Lolly, who was hiding in the dark, thought, so Old Master Gu came to Gu Linshin to talk about Gu Linshin's marriage. Gu Linshin was already of marriageable age. What else could he do if he didn't get married? Even if you come every day, it's useless, Gu Linshin said. Old Master Gu was so infuriated by his son that he paced back and forth on the spot, as if this was the only way to suppress the anger in his heart. I've already allowed Luo Meijuan's daughter to stay here. What else are you dissatisfied with? Does she need your permission to stay here? Gu Linshin sneered. You. Gu Linshin's face was even more sinister than before. He ordered the servant, send the guest out. Gu Linshin, don't be so arrogant. Old Master Gu was furious. It's always been like this. Old Master Gu was speechless. On the other side, Luo Lolly saw that Old Master Gu was about to come out. She hurriedly turned around and ran out, slipping into the car like a wisp of smoke. The bodyguard watched her actions and turned a blind eye. Not long after Luo Lolly got into the car, she saw Old Master Gu coming out of the mansion. He got into the car and left. Luo Lolly heaved a sigh of relief and got out of the car. Then she walked into the living room. In the living room, Gu Linshin was still sitting on the sofa, a cigarette in his mouth. His expression was normal, as if nothing had happened just now. Gu Linshin glanced at her indifferently and stood up to go upstairs. Gu Linshin, Luo Lolly called out. She didn't know why she suddenly had the idea of coming up with ideas for Gu Linshin. She said what was on her mind. Actually, if you don't want to marry Lin Xiangting, you can marry another woman. Gu Linshin turned around slowly and stared at her with his dark eyes. So, you were eavesdropping? Luo Lolly felt guilty and immediately exposed her actions. However, this wasn't the time to talk about this. If you don't like Lin Xiangting, you can marry another woman. Moreover, Old Master Gu didn't say that he had to marry Lin Xiangting, right? Gu Linshin, what do you think of what I've said? Nothing much. Gu Linshin replied coldly and turned to go upstairs. Gu Linshin, I'm telling the truth. Don't you need to do your homework? Gu Linshin turned around and asked coldly. Luo Lolly's little mouth trembled. I'll go now. Then she walked past Gu Linshin and jogged to her room. Gu Linshin looked at her and thought, why should she worry about who he was going to marry? How could such a small matter be troublesome? At most, he would be disgusted by Old Master Gu's appearance. Also, even if Luo Lolly didn't come over to eavesdrop, Luo Lolly would have seen Old Master Gu when he went out. She was probably thinking more than he was. She was nervous even when they met. Gu Linshin waved his hand to summon the bodyguard. In the future, Old Master Gu has to get my permission to enter the house. Yes. Luo Lolly sat in front of her desk and bit the end of her pen. She was daydreaming. She hadn't written much yet. She felt that old Master Gu had no choice but to tolerate Gu Linshan's way of doing things. He had even used the condition of her staying here to force Gu Linshan to get married. Was it a choice? Didn't old Master Gu say so? She could stay here, but Gu Linshan had to get married. And Gu Linshan didn't agree. He was even more unwilling to get married. This was what Gu Linshan said. He was going to let her leave later, because Gu Linshan seemed like the kind of person who didn't want to get married. Luo Luoli couldn't help but feel a little happy. If that was the case, wouldn't she have a chance to leave this place? This was really too good. If she left Gu Linshan, she wouldn't have to worry about Gu Linshan kissing her. What are you laughing at? The deep and intimidating voice startled Luo Luoli, who was daydreaming. When she came back to her senses, she saw Gu Linshan standing in front of her. She was immediately displeased. Gu Linshan, didn't you knock before coming in? Can you hear me if I knock? Then did you knock? No. Luo Luoli was speechless. You're invading my privacy. What privacy? It's a girl's privacy. If there's anything private, I want to see it to my heart's content, Gu Linshan said arrogantly and unreasonably. Luo Luoli was being bullied to death. How could he be like this? Even Gu Linshan wasn't like this in the past. Gu Linshan thought of the smile on Luo Luoli's face when he came in. It was especially glaring. Are you happy that I'm getting married? Gu Linshan asked. Luo Luoli didn't know why Gu Linshan asked this. Her first answer was, I'm happy that I'm getting married. But she didn't know why. But when she saw Gu Linshan's dark expression, she felt that she couldn't say that. She had a feeling that she absolutely couldn't say it. Aren't you happy? Luo Luoli asked carefully. Children shouldn't worry about adult matters. Luo Luoli thought of something and said with a smile, Little uncle, it's good to get married. In the future, you'll have a wife who will treat you well and give birth to little monkeys for you. Chapter 496. I forgot. Could he stop fussing over how she addressed him? Forgot? Did you get carried away? Luo Luoli shook her head under the pressure of the devil and said, I'm telling the truth. I'm doing this for your own good. There's no need for that. Gu Linshan's upper body slowly pressed down. He rested his elbow on the desk and grabbed Luo Luoli's delicate but yellow chin with one hand. His face was close to hers. Do you think that if I don't want to get married, I'll let you go? Luo Luoli's eyes were so clear that even the slightest fluctuation in her emotions could be seen clearly. Therefore, after Gu Linshan said that, Luo Luoli's eyes were filled with shock. Shock of being seen through. It can't be right. Gu Linshan had seen through her thoughts? Wasn't this too scary? Should she deny it directly? After all, she didn't say it out loud. Luoli, don't worry. Even if I don't get married, you won't be able to leave. Gu Linshan was unreasonable. What if you get married? Luo Luoli asked while holding her breath. She was afraid that she would provoke Gu Linshan if she breathed too hard. You'll stay by my side even if I get married. Why should I stay with you if you get married? Luo Luoli felt that this was beyond unreasonable. Serve me. Why should I serve you? Luo Luoli felt that her intelligence was being questioned. Why couldn't she understand Gu Linshan's words at all? Even if she wanted to serve him, shouldn't it be Gu Linshan's future wife's job? What did it have to do with her? Moreover, after they got married, it wouldn't be good for her to live with Gu Linshan, right? But Gu Linshan didn't answer her. He only loosened his grip on her. He looked unfathomable. Luo Luoli felt a little scared. Not just a little, but very scary. Gu Linshan, you're not going to keep me by your side forever, are you? This was not good. I know you feed me, clothe me, and send me to school. I can't be an ungrateful person. But in the future, I will pay you back all the money you spent on me. Then we'll talk about it after we've paid it off. That shouldn't be too expensive, right? Luo Luoli asked. It's not expensive. That's good. Luo Luoli was relieved. 100 million per day. Luo Luoli was so shocked that she almost fell off her seat. What? Since when did I spend 100 million on you? A few hundred at most. If I say there is, then there is. You're being unreasonable. You just want me to work like a horse for you. You want me to serve you for the rest of your life. If that's the case, wouldn't I be too pitiful? I'm going to get married and give birth to little monkey in the future. It was necessary for a girl to get married and have children when she grew up. Little monkey? Gu Linshan's eyes flickered. Yes. Luo Luoli nodded vigorously. Give birth to my children? Luo Luoli's heart was about to break down. My little monkey will be different from yours. But wanted to give birth to his children. What kind of joke was this? What on earth was he thinking? Gu Linshan smiled coldly. You still want to get married? Is there a problem? Without my permission, you're not allowed to get married, and you're not allowed to interact with other boys. Luo Luoli was stunned. If I find out that you're close to the opposite sex, I'll make you pay. Luo Luoli was about to cry. Could she turn back time? She would rather have a battle of wits with the dead Zhou, Shiwejing, or wander outside forever than come to Gu Linshan. What kind of major mistake did she make? Gu Linshan ignored Luo Luoli's devastated expression. He sat down lazily on the chair next to him and asked, How many words have you written? Lowly Luo's neck turned as if it had turned rusty. She looked at the homework that she had yet to touch. She looked pitifully at Gu Linshan. I'm not in the mood to do it anymore. Are you sure? She wasn't sure. Luo Luoli began to do her homework miserably. She felt as if the pen in her hand weighed 1,000 pounds. She couldn't lift it at all. Do you want me to kiss you? Gu Linshan asked. No. Luo Luoli looked up in shock. Looking at Gu Linshan's gloomy eyes, she quickly regained her strength and did her homework normally. She complained as she did her homework. Why was her life so hard? What did she do wrong to be forced to do this? Could she still save herself now? Absolutely not. She was more worried about Gu Linshan kissing her now. How scary was that? Her little mouth was in an unsafe place at any time. Gu Linshan looked at her obediently, doing her homework. His gaze couldn't help but fall on Luo Luoli's messy face. He used to think that this face was so ugly that he didn't want to look at it a second time. Now, he didn't think it was ugly anymore. He must have gotten used to it. Her eyes were bright, her nose was straight, and her mouth was small. When he ate it, the taste was even more delicious. Gu Linshan felt a little restless when he thought of that taste. But she was doing her homework. He looked away from her little mouth. Then, he cleared his throat that he had been suppressing. Luo Luoli heard the sound and looked up at Gu Linshan. She said, I'm doing my homework properly. Gu Linshan's dark eyes darkened uncomfortably. He stood up and said in a suppressed voice, I'll check later. With that, he left Luo Luoli's room. Luo Luoli looked at the closed door and thought that she really wanted to lock it. But she still didn't dare to, even if she was being oppressed by Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan returned to his room and prepared to take a shower. Just now, he had a reaction. Damn it. Was this what he got for not touching a woman? It shouldn't be like this. In the past, he lived as if he didn't need a woman. Now, it was as if he couldn't satisfy his desires. It was a world of difference. On a cold day, cold water was poured on his body. After a while, the heat dissipated. His reaction was doused. He went back to his bedroom and went straight to bed. Then he began to dream. And it was a dream that he had never had before. Gu Linshan, didn't you say that you want me to serve you? Of course you want me on top. The girl in his dream was passionate and unrestrained. Gu Linshan couldn't take it. His breathing was terrifyingly heavy. His dark eyes were glowing with a green light. He wished he could turn into a python and swallow the girl in one bite. Gu Linshan, you look so scary. Will you eat me? The girl asked innocently, but with a fatal seduction. Gu Linshan heard himself say, yes. Although you will, I really like how scary you are. The girl's face was flushed with shyness and seduction. Gu Linshan growled. He couldn't control himself and hugged the girl tightly. He kissed her. Gu Linshan suddenly opened his eyes. Only then did he realize that he had been dreaming. He felt something strange under the blanket. Chapter 497. This was the first time in history. She got out of bed with a cold face and changed her pants. Luo Luoli obediently did her homework in the room. Even after she finished, she did not see Gu Linshan come over. She had been on tenterhooks, wondering if Gu Linshan would come over. She was now afraid of Gu Linshan. She was no longer as naive as before. Because Gu Linshan always kissed her, this caused her to be very terrified. Luo Luoli wondered why Gu Linshan kissed her. She stood in front of the mirror in the bathroom. Luo Luoli looked at her own face. She opened her mouth and looked at her own teeth. She was dressed so ugly. How was she good looking? Could it be that Gu Linshin did not like beautiful women and only liked ugly women? That should not be the case, because she knew that the person Gu Linshin liked was Tang Bao. Tang Bao was so cute and beautiful. In the end, Di Hao Yin wanted to drug him. It was really strange. Tang Bao was sick, but it did not mean that Di Hao Yin would treat her the same as before. Not to mention that he had recovered a long time ago. Di Hao Yin was still cold to her. Other than sleeping on the same bed as her, there was nothing else. During the day, Di Hao Yin was almost always with Lan Wanru. Tang Bao walked out of the room and passed by the balcony. The sunlight on the balcony was just right. It was warm, but now Di Hao Yin and Lan Wanru were on the balcony. The two of them seemed to be talking about something. Lan Wanru had a gentle smile on his face. Di Hao Yin looked at Lan Wanru. His gaze was not as cold as when he looked at her. Was it the sunlight that warmed him, or was it Lan Wanru that warmed him? When Di Hao Yin and Lan Wanru looked over, Tang Bao walked over and said, "Di Hao Yin, I need to go to the company. As far as I know, you're not in charge of the company." Di Hao Yin's expression turned cold. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Yin's cold face. "Are you that unwilling to see me? Isn't that because you called Zhou Jisen back? Didn't he find someone to take his place?" "That Zhou Jisen is really good to you," Lan Wanru interjected. His words made it easy for people to misunderstand. Upon hearing this, Tang Bao frowned and looked at Di Hao Yin. Di Hao Yin's expression was indeed very cold and ugly. Lan Wanru saw that the atmosphere had become even more oppressive because of her provocation. Although she was afraid, she knew that the one who should be more afraid was the Tang Bao. Not her. "Zhou Jisen did find someone for me. That person is none other than his ex-wife. It seems that the two of them are about to remarry. I have to work hard. When they get married, I have to give them a big gift." Tang Bao mentioned Zhou Jisen's ex-wife. He wanted to tell Di Hao Yin. If there was really something between her and Zhou Jisen, why did he ask his ex-wife to come to her company? Was he crazy? Di Hao Yin did not say anything. "Di Hao Yin, do you agree or not?" "Forget it, I won't go." Tang Bao directly sat down beside Di Hao Yin. He sat close to him. Di Hao Yin turned to look at Tang Bao. Tang Bao looked back at him and met his cold black eyes. "Di Hao Yin, if they remarry, will you also give them a big gift? What are you going to give them?" "I don't have much money, so I may not be able to give them anything. But as long as the thought is there, it will be enough. Don't you think so?" Di Hao Yin looked away and did not look at her anymore. Lan Wanru looked at Tang Bao and Di Hao Yin exchanging glances as if she did not exist. The jealousy in her heart suddenly burned like fire. She knew how scheming Tang Bao was. He said that he was going to the company, but he wanted to deliberately get close to Di Hao Yin and retreat in order to advance. Then he sat down beside Di Hao Yin as if it was natural. It seemed that she had to be on guard against Tang Bao at all times. Tang Bao looked at Lan Wanru's eyes and knew that she was angry now. Tang Bao smiled at her silently, and then rested his head on Di Hao Yin's strong arm. "Can't you sit properly?" Di Hao Yin frowned slightly. "I have just recovered from a serious illness. Let me lean on you." Tang Bao raised his watery eyes and blinked at Di Hao Yin's cold face. Di Hao Yin was stunned by her clear eyes. He turned his face away and did not care about her anymore. He did not push Tang Bao away either. Tang Bao looked at Lan Wanru's face, which was distorted from anger, and thought about how he should chase Lan Wanru out of the castle. "Brother Hao Yin, I am not feeling well. I will go back to my room to rest first." Lan Wanru regained her composure and said tiredly, "Okay." Di Hao Yin responded. Lan Wanru got up and left. Lan Wanru had just reached the door of her room when her phone rang. She took a look and saw that it was a call from Di Lingwei. She immediately went into her room and closed the door while answering the call. Just as the door was about to close, a small foot was stuck in a gap of the door, and the door did not close. Lan Wanru, who was answering the call inside, did not notice it. "Uncle, why are you looking for me?" Lan Wanru asked. "I already know the ins and outs of Belle being sent back." Di Lingwei said, "Belle did it to help me." "Uncle, don't blame her." Lan Wanru pleaded for Belle. She is a small matter. I'm just worried that Brother Hao Ian will have some thoughts. Does he believe you? Di Lingwei asked. I don't know. At first, Brother Hao Ian was angry at Tang Bao. Later on, when Tang Bao fainted, he brought her back to her room and called the doctor to treat her. I can't see through Brother Hao Ian's thoughts at all. Lan Wanru said. If he believed in Tang Bao, why was he so scared of Tang Bao in the beginning? If he didn't believe in Tang Bao, Di Hao Ian's attitude towards Tang Bao didn't worsen. Why was Di Hao Ian, who had lost his memory, still so unpredictable? Then what about his attitude towards you? Did he suspect you? Or suspect anything? Di Lingwei asked. Lan Wanru couldn't say that he didn't suspect anything. Otherwise, he would be too useless in front of Di Lingwei. He seems to have reservations about everything and everyone. He doesn't suspect anything that I do. I think between Tang Bao and himself, he still favors me. As long as Brother Hao Ian has the heart, I am not afraid that I can't win against Tang Bao. Lan Wanru said, and you have to end it quickly. Don't wait until Di Hao Ian recovers his memory. When that time comes, he will fight back fiercely. Think about the consequences. I know. Thank you for your reminder. Lan Wanru hung up the phone and sighed in relief. Di Lingwei had the intention to pressure her, but she knew that it was normal for Di Lingwei to be worried. If Di Hao Ian recovers his memory, she wouldn't be able to do anything. She only had one chance. Yu Songhuan also told her to hurry up. However, although Di Hao Ian had lost his memory, it didn't mean that he could be controlled by others. Chapter 498. You're done so quickly? Lan Wanru was startled by the voice behind her. She turned around and saw Tang Bao leaning against the door. Did she hear everything she said to Di Lingwei just now? So what if you heard it? Brother Hao Ian won't believe you. Lan Wanru sneered, looking fearless. Is that so? Tang Bao raised his phone and shook it at her. Lan Wanru's face changed. What do you mean? I recorded it. Can't you understand? I thought you, Lan Wanru, always had a sharp mind and could understand it with just one look. Tang Bao looked at her mockingly. You dare to secretly record what I said? Lan Wanru didn't expect Tang Bao to do this. She was so angry that her face turned pale. Don't faint. Even if you faint, it doesn't matter unless you lie in bed for the rest of your life. What do you want? What do I want? Of course, I want to let Di Hao Ian hear how Lan Wanru and her uncle schemed against him. Tang Bao looked at her coldly. If you let Brother Hao Ian hear it, then wouldn't you have recorded it for nothing? Lan Wanru said, I told you that you're smart. If you don't want me to let Di Hao Ian hear it, you hurry up and leave the castle with me. What if I don't want to? You will, Tang Bao said confidently. Then he shook his phone again. I'll wait for you on the balcony. After that, he left with a smile. Lan Wanru was so angry that her face turned pale. How could she be so easily schemed against by Tang Bao? She regretted that when she saw that the caller was Di Lingwei, she forgot about the surrounding security. She also didn't expect that Tang Bao would follow her. Would Tang Bao really record it and show it to Di Hao Ian? But she did not want to leave the castle at all. It was not easy for her to move into the castle and have further contact with Di Hao Ian. How could she let all her efforts go to waste? Tang Bao returned to the balcony and sat beside Di Hao Ian as usual. Di Hao Ian glanced at her indifferently. I'm going to the toilet. Di Hao Ian, are you coming? Tang Bao asked with a smile. Do I need you to remind me when I'm going to the toilet? Di Hao Ian's eyes were cold. It's not a bad thing to remind you, right? Where's Wanru? Di Hao Ian did not answer her question. Instead, he looked at Tang Bao's grinning face and asked. Tang Bao's eyes clearly froze. For some reason, Di Hao Ian felt comfortable when he looked at her eyes. It was as if Tang Bao's emotions were affected by him. It was an inexplicable feeling. If you're worried about her, you can go to the toilet to find her, Tang Bao said unhappily. Lan Wanru already said that she was going to rest, yet he still asked. Was he doing it on purpose? Did he feel uncomfortable when he saw her smile? Di Hao Ian's eyes turned cold. Just as the two of them were in a deadlock, Lan Wanru walked into the balcony. He sat down in his original position. Didn't you say that you were going to rest? Di Hao Ian asked. Tang Bao. So, Di Hao Ian really mentioned Lan Wanru on purpose just now? What kind of mentality was he in? Di Hao Ian turned a blind eye to her emotional fluctuations and only looked at Lan Wanru. I feel much better, so I came over. Tang Bao thought coldly. Your body is really recovering fast. Your body is much better? Then you must have a lot to say to Di Hao Ian, right? I don't know if I'm disturbing you, Tang Bao said pointedly. He looked at Lan Wanru. Lan Wanru naturally understood what Tang Bao meant. However, she didn't want to say it, and she couldn't open her mouth. Tang Bao saw that Lan Wanru didn't want to say anything. He started to fiddle with his phone and said to Di Hao Ian, Di Hao Ian, I have something good on my phone. Do you want to hear it? What is it? Di Hao Ian looked at him. You'll know when you hear it. Tang Bao glanced at Lan Wanru and then put the phone close to Di Hao Ian. His fingers seemed to be fiddling with something. Lan Wanru closed his eyes tightly, as if he had made an important and painful decision. He said, Brother Hao Ian, I want to go home for a while. Di Hao Ian asked, What's the matter? It's not good for me to keep living here. Besides, I want to go back and see my aunt, Lan Wanru said with a gentle expression on his face. Di Hao Ian's dark eyes flashed with doubt. He turned to look at Tang Bao and asked, It has something to do with you? Tang Bao, who was called out, was stunned. He was unhappy and said, What do you mean? What does it have to do with me? Did I tell her to go back with a gun? What did Di Hao Ian mean? Her first impression was that she had done something bad. Could it be that in his mind, she was not as reliable as Lan Wanru? Lan Wanru, you better tell Di Hao Ian clearly that I didn't force you to leave. After Tang Bao finished speaking, he stood up and walked away angrily. She didn't want to see Di Hao Ian and Lan Wanru being inseparable. Besides, she was sure that Lan Wanru wouldn't tell the truth. If she told the truth, wasn't she afraid that Di Hao Ian wouldn't believe her in the future? With Lan Wanru's stubbornness towards Di Hao Ian, he definitely wouldn't be willing to do that. In the face of Tang Bao's impudent attitude, Di Hao Ian frowned and his dark eyes were cold. What kind of attitude was this? Brother Hao Ian, don't be angry. Tang Bao is right. I just want to go home and see Annie. I don't mean anything else, and it has nothing to do with Tang Bao, Lan Wanru said. I'll get the car to send you back. No matter how unwilling Lan Wanru was, he still had to smile and say, Okay. Tang Bao leaned against the window and watched the car leave. He felt much better. He was fiddling with his phone. Recording? Of course, there was no recording. It was just to deceive Lan Wanru. This was a new phone. She hadn't found a place to record in such a short time. The door was pushed open. Tang Bao glanced at Di Hao Ian, who walked in and then looked away coldly. Di Hao Ian looked at Tang Bao with his dark eyes. He knew what she was angry about. Di Hao Ian ignored her and went to do his own thing. When Tang Bao saw Di Hao Ian turn on his laptop, he ignored her. He didn't even try to coax her. He was angry. He turned around and went into the bedroom. He fell on the bed sulkily. Then he thought of something. He jumped up from the bed and left the room. He slammed the door. Di Hao Ian looked up from the computer and looked at the closed door. Throw away Lan Juhua's bed. The room she used must be disinfected. Do you hear me? Tang Bao ordered. Lien and Zhongli listened. Young madam, don't worry. We're already buying a new bed. After disinfecting it, we'll definitely get rid of it completely, Zhongli said with a smile. Although he didn't know why Lan Wanru suddenly went back, he was very happy. It was as if the clouds had turned sunny. Chapter 499. He had no choice. He was the one with the highest authority. Young madam is right. We will definitely disinfect the house prize carefully. Lien said, That's good. Tang Bao nodded in satisfaction. After giving his instructions, Tang Bao went back to her room. Di Hao Ian was still looking at the computer. She looked at the chiseled facial features and thought, was Di Hao Ian in a bad mood now? Because Lan Wanru had left. Did that mean that Di Hao Ian was ignoring her even more than before? Tang Bao went back to her room, lay down on the bed, and closed her eyes. She felt a little tired. Di Hao Ian knew that he had wronged her. Couldn't he comfort her? Even if he didn't comfort her, he should at least explain, right? Tang Bao fell asleep with such messy thoughts in his head. When Di Lingyue came back from the company, he saw Lan Wanru, who had also returned home. "Why did you come back?" Di Lingyue asked. Lan Wanru had already thought of what to say. "Uncle called me." Tang Bao hid behind me and heard it. She even recorded it and wanted to show it to Brother Haoyan. I had no choice but to come back because she threatened me. If this was to be blamed, it wasn't all Lan Wanru's fault. If Di Lingyue didn't call him, how could this have happened? Therefore, after Lan Wanru said this, Di Lingyue's expression was so ugly that he couldn't look at it. However, he wouldn't say that he regretted what he did. He would only blame others. "Tang Bao, I shouldn't have let her go," Di Lingyue said fiercely. "Uncle, don't worry. Things are different now. Even if I'm back, as long as Brother Haoyan cares about me, he will still come and visit me." Lan Wanru said, "I hope so." Di Lingyue didn't want to say anything more and left. Lan Wanru knew that although Di Lingyue didn't blame her, he would think that she was useless, right? She was so easily tricked by Tang Bao. At night, Tang Bao slept on the bed without Di Haoyan by her side. Di Haoyan returned to the master bedroom. Tang Bao tossed and turned on the bed. Could it be that she chased Lan Wanru away because she wanted to have a Cold War with Di Haoyan? Definitely not. She did it to build a good relationship with Di Haoyan, so that he could regain his memories. Wasn't this Cold War? After thinking about this, Tang Bao lifted the blanket and got out of bed, and went to the master bedroom. After entering the master bedroom, it was pitch black. Tang Bao Di Haoyan was really too much. He didn't even have the slightest bit of expectation for her to come to the master bedroom. Tang Bao was lifted to the corner of the table. She was in so much pain that she grimaced. After a while, she carefully crept into the master bedroom. Di Haoyan, who was lying on the bed, already knew that Tang Bao came in. He just didn't show it. However, Tang Bao thought that Di Haoyan was asleep. She found the bed and tiptoed onto it. Then, she crawled in beside Di Haoyan. Just like that, she curled up beside Di Haoyan. After Tang Bao got used to the darkness, she raised her small face and looked at Di Haoyan's face. His cold and hard face was outlined in the darkness. His long and narrow eyes were closed. Tang Bao climbed up slightly and couldn't help but get closer. Then, she kissed Di Haoyan on the cheek. Looking at Di Haoyan, who didn't respond, Tang Bao lowered her head again. "Di Haoyan, when will you regain your memories? If you don't recover in decades, what should I do?" Tang Bao thought gloomily. After Tang Bao fell asleep, Di Haoyan opened his eyes. His eyes were deep and dark in the night. In the morning, Tang Bao felt the bed move slightly and woke up. She was actually a light sleeper now. Was it because she was afraid that Di Haoyan would leave? There were only the two of them in the castle now, but she was still so worried. It was as if Di Haoyan would leave her at any time. However, they slept separately yesterday. When she woke up, she was here. Did she feel a little uncomfortable? Did she not want to lose face? That's strange. Why am I sleeping here? Tang Bao scratched her head and asked curiously. Di Haoyan glanced at her indifferently and pursed his thin lips. He didn't intend to respond to Tang Bao's act of ignorance. "I know, I must be sleepwalking," Tang Bao said to Di Haoyan with a smile. Di Haoyan still ignored her and turned to go into the bathroom. Sleepwalking? Sleepwalking and loving family members? He should have locked the door and not let her in. Di Haoyan guessed that Tang Bao would definitely sneak into his room before he turned off the lights. Since he guessed it, he should have locked the door. What kind of mentality was this? Di Haoyan was a little irritated. At the breakfast table, Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyan, who was eating silently, and said, "Di Haoyan, I'm not going anywhere today. What do you want to do? I'll accompany you." "No need," Di Haoyan said expressionlessly. "Why not? I'll go to Tang Bao was not very satisfied with this arrangement, but she still said, "Then I'll go to tea to accompany you." "You're not allowed to go." "Why? Just because Lan Wanru is not here, you don't want to stay in the castle? Or are you so unwilling to see me?" Tang Bao was angry and sour. "Are you done?" Di Haoyan's dark eyes sharpened. Tang Bao bit her lip hard and glared at him with watery eyes. Di Haoyan's dark eyes narrowed slightly. He stood up and left the dining room and the castle. Tang Bao sat alone at the dining table and could not eat anymore. Was there something wrong with what she said? Lan Wanru had just left, and he was going to tea. Wasn't it because Lan Wanru was not here? Di Hao Ian was not in the castle, so she was alone. The huge castle still made her heart feel empty. Tears could only flow to her stomach. Tang Bao did not want to stay in the castle and let her imagination run wild. She also ran to the company. Wan Malay was stunned when she saw the person who came in. Why are you here? Why can't I be here? I have to study hard. What if Lien leaves one day? Who will I rely on? Have you thought it through? Wan Malay asked. Where's the young master? He's in tea. I knew it. If tea was in the castle, you wouldn't come to the company. Wan Malay said. When she saw Tang Bao staring at her, she quickly changed her words. Of course, you're not such a person. At critical moments, you still put the company first. I won't put the company first. My life is in a mess now. I can't let the company be in a mess too, Tang Bao said. You're right. I'm going to look for you, Lien. No, it's Vice President you, Tang Bao said and turned to leave the office. Even if Wan Malay did not ask, she could tell that Tang Bao was not in a good mood. Presumably, the young master would not be well until he regained his memory, right? Why did the young master not remember anyone? It was fine if he did not remember anyone, but why did he have to forget Tang Bao? It was already very difficult for Tang Bao to accept this, but the young master was so cold and heartless to her. Chapter 500. How much longer would Tang Bao have to suffer? Tang Bao went to Yu Lianlian's office. Yu Lianlian was working inside. Tang Bao barged into the office without knocking. This was also one of the tasks that Zhou Zhishan handed over to Yu Lianlian. Are you busy? Tang Bao asked. Not really. Have a seat. Yu Lianlian stood up and poured her a glass of juice. It was the kind that Tang Bao liked to drink. Yu Lianlian sat down on the sofa and said, Zhou Zhishan is a man. He's not as meticulous when it comes to women. Try it. Do you like it? Tang Bao took a sip and said, It's quite delicious. If you like it, come over more often next time. Yu Lianlian smiled. Are you used to it? Tang Bao was referring to work. Used to it. If I'm not used to it, I'll be scolded to death by Zhou Zhishan. You don't even know that when he's handing over work, his expression is really ugly when he has to say one thing twice. Tang Bao laughed dryly. She had heard before that Zhou Zhishan was very strict at work. If the data or documents that were handed to him were wrong, it would be very scary. Although she didn't feel anything. Tang Bao, actually, I still need your support in my work. You know, in the past, the documents that needed to be signed were all done by the young master. Now, you might need to review them yourself. But don't worry, I'll help you. If you don't understand, I'll make you understand. If you're in a dilemma, I'll let you know the pros and cons of the company. Of course, if both of us don't understand, we can ask Zhou Zhishan. I understand. Then do you have any documents that you need me to look through or sign and stamp? Tang Bao asked. Yu Lianlian pointed to the pile of documents on the desk and said, There's a stack over there. Tang Bao looked over. There were really a lot of documents. Tang Bao stood up, walked over, and flipped through the document on the top. She thought that she had to learn herself. It wasn't good to always rely on others. She was determined to learn this skill. Tang Bao carried the documents to the coffee table and prepared to sit on the sofa to read them. Do we start now? Yu Lianlian glanced at Tang Bao and asked. Yeah, let's start now. Tang Bao nodded. Let's have lunch together at noon. Yu Lianlian looked at Tang Bao's face and asked, Don't you need to go back? Is it okay to stay here forever? Tang Bao's hand paused in the middle of flipping through the documents. He knew that Yu Lianlian was worried and said, It's okay. Di Hao Ian is in tea. Young Emperor's body must have recovered well. Yu Lianlian said, Well, it's pretty good. It was just that she hadn't recovered from her amnesia, which made her very upset. Yu Lianlian looked at Tang Bao's gloomy face and leaned forward. Is the young master still so cold? To you. Tang Bao nodded uneasily and said, It'll be fine when he recovers his memory. Why do we have to wait? What do you mean? You can help him recover. Tang Bao's eyes lit up, and she quickly asked, "How can I help? Tell me quickly." Yu Lianlian whispered into Tang Bao's ear. Tang Bao's little face suddenly turned red. Yu Lianlian saw that she was embarrassed and said, "What's wrong with that? You two are husband and wife. It's normal. Didn't you take the initiative in the past?" Tang Bao shook her head. In the past, she had been squeezed dry by Di Haoyan when she didn't take the initiative. What would happen if she took the initiative? Is it useful? Tang Bao asked doubtfully. Of course it's useful. I used this method to get Zhou Zhishan. You have to know that remarriage is much more difficult to deal with than amnesia, Yu Lianlian said. Zhou Zhishan? You didn't look like it? You looked like someone who was abstinent. The female employees in the company secretly made eyes at him, but he didn't say anything. Let me tell you, no matter how cold a man is, he's still a man. He still needs it in that aspect. It's just that you can see it and not see it, Yu Lianlian said, very experienced. But Di Haoyan is still recovering. I'm afraid it won't be good for his health, Tang Bao said worriedly. It wasn't that she was worrying too much or being too careful. It was just that Di Haoyan was too fierce and scary in bed in the past. Would Di Haoyan faint in the middle of it? After all, his brain hadn't fully recovered. You're thinking too much. The fact that the young master ran to tea means that he's fine. You just have to seduce him boldly. Maybe the young master was too excited and the blood rushed to his brain and he regained his memory? There was such a thing. Tang Bao saw that Yu Lianlian was serious. She also seriously considered this matter. Ever since she married Di Haoyan, she hadn't taken the initiative to seduce him. The thought of using this method to help Di Haoyan regain his memory really made her embarrassed and nervous. At noon, Tang Bao went to have lunch with Yu Lianlian. In the afternoon, she stayed in Yu Lianlian's office to read the documents. If she understood, she would sign it. If she didn't, she would ask Yu Lianlian. Tang Bao felt that if Zhou Zhishan and Yu Lianlian weren't sincere in helping her, she wouldn't even know that her company had been emptied. Tang Bao looked at the time. It was already past 4 o'clock. Thinking of the situation where she was locked outside the castle, she said to Yu Lianlian, "I'll go back first. I'll come back tomorrow." "Then you should go back," Yu Lianlian added. "Don't forget what I taught you." After saying that, she winked at Tang Bao. Tang Bao quickly ran away. She ran back to her office. "Malay, I'm off work. I thought you were coming to have lunch with me." While Malay said, "No, you go eat by yourself. Bye." Tang Bao turned around and left. Tang Bao thought, "Have lunch with me again?" She didn't want to be locked out of the castle again. She was too scary for Di Haoyan. Di Haoyan didn't go easy on her at all. When Tang Bao went back, Di Haoyan hadn't returned yet. She ran to the rose garden to take a look for a while, then went to sit on the swing. Sitting on the swing, she felt a little gloomy. It was as if every flower and blade of grass here carried a deep memory. The memory of her and Di Haoyan. She couldn't erase it no matter what. The roses were planted by Di Haoyan, and she was the one who asked him to make the swing. But it was all related to Di Haoyan. How good would it be if the sadness could be swung away with the swing? Di Haoyan, who had returned, got out of the car. When he was walking into the hall, he glanced inside. Lian noticed Di Haoyan's gaze. "Young madam went to the swing." "I didn't ask her." "Yes," Lian replied. Whatever the young master said, it was the truth. Even if he knew that the young master didn't mean what he said, he wouldn't say anything. After Leon went down, Di Haoyan stood in the hall, his dark eyes deep. Chapter 501. At that time, Di Haoyan was standing on the swing with her. That was how she looked up at him with her little face. She was so unwilling to marry Di Haoyan that she wanted to escape all day long. She was just like this swing, swaying back and forth. But in the end, she still stayed where she was. Tang Bao sighed, not knowing if Di Haoyan had returned. Di Haoyan stood not far away, looking at the slender and beautiful figure on the swing. Her face was slightly raised, with the glow of dusk like a rippling painting. It attracted his gaze. His feet stepped on the ground, and the swing stopped. Tang Bao stood up and turned around, ready to go into the castle. However, he saw Di Hao Ian standing not far away. Tang Bao was stunned. He didn't expect Di Hao Ian to have returned. What was he doing standing there? How long had it been? Di Hao Ian, did you just come back? Tang Bao came back to his senses, walked forward, and asked, "Who made the swing?" Di Hao Ian looked at the swing and asked. Tang Bao turned around to look. She thought of what Lian Lian said to her in the office, and it gave her some inspiration. Could it be that only sleeping with him could help him recover his memory? What if he did something in the past? Would it help Di Hao Ian recover his memory? Di Hao Ian, come over here for a moment. Tang Bao pulled Di Hao Ian's hand towards the swing. Seeing that Di Hao Ian didn't move, he said, "Come over here for a moment. Come on." Di Hao Ian didn't know why he listened to Tang Bao and walked to the swing. He even stood on the swing with her. The swing swayed slightly. Di Hao Ian looked expressionlessly at Tang Bao, who was looking up at him. What was he doing? Di Hao Ian, do you have any impression of me? Is it okay if I'm in a corner of your memory? Tang Bao asked with anticipation in his eyes. No. Di Hao Ian had no recollection of it. Tang Bao was slightly disappointed, but he did not give up. He still grinned and said, "It's okay, I can tell you. I asked Leon to help me make this swing. I usually like to swing here. Once we stood on the swing like this. Do you remember?" Di Hao Ian really tried to think about it. In the past, he would feel a throbbing pain in his head when he thought about it. Now, he didn't feel anything. Was he closer or further from recovering his memories? As for the swing, the only thing he remembered was reading the agreement on the bedside table. He asked Tang Bao to make out with him on the swing. Di Hao Ian had always doubted the authenticity of the agreement. Or maybe it was caused by Tang Bao's tricks. He felt that it was impossible for him to have such thoughts. Tang Bao also said that she asked Lian to do it, not him. This could be considered a flaw. Di Hao Ian got down from the swing with a gloomy face, turned around, and walked away. Tang Bao didn't know what he said wrong. He hurriedly got down from the swing. Di Hao Ian, what's wrong with you? Tang Bao chased after him. Even if you can't remember, don't be angry, okay? I don't have to make you remember. I'm just helping you recover your memories. I don't need your help. Di Hao Ian's face was cold. You don't need my help? Don't you want to recover your memories? Tang Bao asked. I do, but it has nothing to do with you. Tang Bao stopped in his tracks and looked at Di Hao Ian's back as he walked away. If it had nothing to do with her, why would he need to find his memories? Tang Bao came back to his senses and ran forward. He blocked Di Hao Ian's way. I'm going to hot spring. I'm going to hot spring, Tang Bao said again. I'm not going. Di Hao Ian, I know you really want to recover your memories. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gone to the doctor today, Tang Bao said, his clear eyes staring at Di Hao Ian's dark eyes. Don't ask me how I know. I just know. You took me to the hot springs before. Maybe you can remember something. Or are you afraid to go? Are you trying to goad me? Di Hao Ian didn't know where she got the confidence to goad him. Because you're afraid that after you recover your memories, you'll find that you treated me so badly when you lost your memories, Tang Bao said. I don't think so. Di Hao Ian didn't think that he treated Tang Bao badly. She only had herself to blame for everything. Most importantly, he was always tolerant of Tang Bao in the end. In his eyes, he didn't like a person who made a mistake. And Tang Bao, go, you'll find something very different. What if I can't remember anything? Di Hao Ian's dark eyes narrowed slightly as he looked at her. Perhaps Tang Bao was too confident in what he had done, so he didn't expect Di Hao Ian to ask such a question. She was at a loss. Di Hao Ian looked at the confusion and helplessness that flashed in Tang Bao's eyes, which made his cold heart tremble. It was as if there was the sound of water dripping down and falling into the lake in his heart. Before he could think, his thin lips spoke first. Let's go after dinner. Tang Bao's gloomy eyes suddenly lit up. Are you serious? No. Di Hao Ian walked toward the restaurant. Yes, I heard you. Don't go back on your word. Tang Bao followed behind him happily and followed him into the restaurant. After dinner, the two of them went to the hotel to soak in the hot spring. It was the same hot spring. Tang Bao stood there and didn't move. Di Hao Ian glanced at her and said, Why? You don't dare to take off your clothes in front of me? I wonder if we're husband and wife. As he spoke, he took off his clothes, revealing his strong and sexy body and strong and long legs. Tang Bao's little heart skipped a beat, and her face heated up. She pretended to take off her clothes. After Di Hao Yin went inside, Tang Bao put on her clothes again. She went outside. He waved at Ding Quan and then said something to him. Ding Quan nodded and turned to leave. After that, Tang Bao went in. She took off her clothes. She wore a bra on top and a thin silk scarf wrapped around the bottom. Di Hao Yin, who was soaking in the hot spring with his eyes closed, sensed movement and opened his dark eyes. When that slender and graceful figure came into view, his dark eyes were stunned. Tang Bao noticed Di Hao Yin's gaze, and her little face turned red. However, she still calmed herself in front of Di Hao Yin and stepped her little feet into the hot spring. A wave of warmth spread, but she felt her body and face become even hotter. Last time, she was too embarrassed to be naked in front of Di Hao Yin, so she wore a chest wrap. But now, she was wearing a bra, because she knew what Di Hao Yin liked about her. She didn't know how many times she had been ravaged by him. Every time, she felt like she was going to be ruined. Tang Bao sat directly next to Di Hao Yin. Di Hao Yin's chiseled face was a little tense. His dark eyes were cold, but they were very deep. He looked straight ahead. Di Hao Yin, how do you feel? Tang Bao's eyes flashed to hide her embarrassment. Chapter 502. I'm not asking about that. I'm asking if the hot spring was comfortable. I fell asleep in it that time. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Yin's silhouetted profile. Do you want to know how I fell asleep? Di Hao Yin did not speak. His mind was still thinking about what he had just seen. Tang Bao saw that Di Hao Yin did not speak. She stood up and sat directly on Di Hao Yin's body. Her back was pressed against Di Hao Yin's strong and safe chest. Her small face was raised, and the first thing she saw was Di Hao Yin's firm jaw. No matter how she looked at Di Hao Yin, he was so handsome and cold. Di Hao Yin, I was hugged by you like this that time, and then I fell asleep. Before I fell asleep, we talked about what position was the closest distance between two hearts. Now, Di Hao Yin said. Tang Bao smiled. Yes, now, but do you know what position I'm talking about? Back to back. Tang Bao's smile suddenly froze. She sat up straight and looked back at Di Hao Yin in disbelief. You remember? No. Di Hao Yin looked at her shocked eyes. Then why did you answer correctly? Tang Bao asked. Di Hao Yin pursed his thin lips and did not speak, because he did not know why he answered back to back. After Tang Bao asked, he said out loud. He blurted it out. I guessed. Tang Bao could not help but look disappointed. You're really good at guessing. I thought you remembered, because at that time I said that. I didn't know I was wrong. You were the one who corrected me. Tang Bao's body softened and continued to lean on Di Hao Yin's body. Her clear eyes were covered with a thin layer of mist as she looked at the white smoke on the surface of the water. Even if she could not find Di Hao Yin's memory this time, she would not give up. She would continue to help Di Hao Yin search, even if he couldn't find it here. Then find out what happened recently. Buddhist villages, granny, Buddhist temples. There's so many, aren't there? These were the hopes of her and Di Hao Yin. In this beautiful imagination, Tang Bao wanted to close his eyes drowsily, but she couldn't. She still had to take Di Hao Yin to sleep in the tent. And what happened next? Di Hao Yin's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked down from above. He looked down at the contours of Tang Bao's neck, her delicate and clear collarbones, and then down to the bottom. He could see everything clearly. Di Hao Yin's dark eyes became deep and profound. His sexy Adam's apple moved, as if he was swallowing instinctively. The blood in his body was boiling. The fragrance emitted from the girl's body was as if she had been soaked in a hot spring, making her even sweeter and more alluring. Their hearts were beating happily together. This was the closest distance. Tang Bao fell asleep in Di Hao Yin's arms. When she woke up, she was in the tent. The faint light from the outside shone on the tent and seeped in. But why was Tang Bao alone in the tent? Where was Di Hao Yin? Tang Bao hurried out of the tent and saw a tall figure standing not far away from the tent, facing the mountains. The sky was already dark, and the light didn't shine far. She could only see the outline of the mountains. So what was Di Hao Yin thinking? Tang Bao slowly approached and stood behind Di Hao Yin. I was asleep. How did you know to come here? Tang Bao asked. You didn't say so. Di Hao Yin didn't look back. He was still looking into the distance, but his dark eyes were deeper than the night sky that shrouded the mountains. I said so, but I didn't tell you the route. Di Hao Yin turned around, his dark eyes cold. I can't ask. Tang Bao suddenly understood. Yes, Di Hao Yin could ask the bodyguards. There were so many bodyguards. He could ask any one of them. However, she was also surprised. She thought that Di Hao Yin wouldn't believe anyone. If she asked the bodyguards, did that mean that Di Hao Yin believed that he had brought her here before? Di Hao Yin, why are you willing to believe me? Tang Bao asked. She hoped that Di Hao Yin would give her an answer that would make her happy. But he didn't. Since this is the arrangement you want, I will cooperate with you. If I still don't remember anything, there's no need for such things in the future. It's not the arrangement I want, but you brought me here before. I'm just helping you to find your memories. Even if I can't remember, I won't give up. Don't forget, we went on a trip together during the New Year. We can go out again, Tang Bao said. You mean when you ran away from home and I went to find you? I was injured because of you. Do you think that can help me find my memories? Di Hao Yin's eyes were cold. Tang Bao knew the sarcasm and indifference in Di Hao Yin's words. However, Tang Bao knew very well that she had really hurt him. Yes, Di Hao Yin, I'm afraid that the most regretful thing in my life is that I left home and hurt you. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Yin with tears in her eyes. So, can I make it up to you? Or, I can give you another benefit. Di Hao Yin looked at her with his dark eyes. As long as you recover your memories, I will leave you. I will leave as far away as possible. Is that okay? Tang Bao said. Is what you said true? Di Hao Yin was stunned and asked. Yes, what I said just now is absolutely true. If you don't believe me, I can write it down in black and white. Tang Bao said, so to prove her words. She just wanted Di Hao Yin to give her a chance to make it up to him. As for leaving after recovering your memories, Di Hao Yin, if you really recover your memories, will you still let me go? I'm sure that not only will you not let me go, but you will also regret what you have done. Di Hao Yin looked at the serious look in Tang Bao's eyes. He thought that when he heard Tang Bao's words, the burden in his heart would be reduced. After all, there was still Lan Wanru. One less person would save him a lot of trouble. However, he did not feel relieved at all. His heart was heavy, as if there was a soft and boneless hand grabbing and pulling it down. Why? Was it not good to divorce Tang Bao? All he knew was that he chased after her in order to divorce Tang Bao. He wanted to marry Lan Wanru. Now that Tang Bao had made such a condition, why was he silent? The uncomfortable feeling in his heart came again. It was as if thousands of needles were pricking him. There was pain on his face. Di Hao Yin, what's wrong with you? Tang Bao saw that Di Hao Yin's expression was not right and quickly asked. It's nothing. How is it nothing? It's nothing. You seem to be in a lot of pain. Forget it, let's go back. Tang Bao pulled Di Hao Yin's arm, almost as if he was holding a piece of driftwood. She did not want to sleep in the tent anymore. She did not want to recover her memories. Why did she not think about what would happen if Di Hao Yin's condition relapsed? She could not be so selfish, could she? She had always felt that Di Hao Yin who lost his memories was better than falling off the cliff and losing Di Hao Yin forever. It did not matter if she did not recover her memories. Chapter 503. Di Hao Yin's dark eyes looked at Tang Bao's nervous and flustered expression. It was not an act. His heart was flustered by such a clear gaze. He averted his gaze awkwardly. There's no need. He withdrew his arm and went to the tent. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Yin's back as he walked toward the tent. He came back to his senses and chased after him. After entering the tent, Tang Bao saw Di Hao Yin lying down. His tall figure occupied most of the space. Tang Bao walked over and knelt down beside Di Hao Yin. He looked at Di Hao Yin, who had his eyes closed, and asked, Are you really okay? Does it not hurt anymore? Yes. Di Hao Yin, where did you feel pain just now? Didn't you have a headache? Why did I see you clutching your chest? I think I saw you clutching your chest when I was in the hospital. Did you suffer an internal injury? Tang Bao asked nervously. No. Di Hao Yan's eyes were closed. At first, he also felt strange and wondered if there was something wrong with his heart. After going to hospital for a checkup, they did not find anything wrong with him. His heart was still very healthy. Then why did he feel uncomfortable sometimes? Moreover, he would only have such a reaction when facing Tang Bao. Di Hao Yan slowly opened his dark eyes and looked at Tang Bao, who was kneeling beside him with his head lowered. He did not know what was going on. Di Hao Yan, should I not have brought you here? We can go back now. Anyway, you have a plane. Come and pick us up. It won't take long, Tang Bao said. You don't need to help me find my memories? Or are you worried that you will leave me after finding my memories? Do you regret what you said? Di Hao Yan looked at him coldly. Tang Bao had to admit that although Di Hao Yan's brain was injured, his depth and scheming did not change at all. He could even think of this. I'm worried about your health. I said I'm fine. Tang Bao did not bother about Di Hao Yan's suspicion. She noticed that his complexion had returned to normal, unlike the pain on his face at the beginning. You should be fine, right? You rest. I'm going out to relieve myself. I'll be back soon, Tang Bao said as he left the tent. Ding Quan was waiting for her in the distance with a box in his hand. Did you get it? Tang Bao asked. I got it. It's inside. Ding Quan handed the box to Tang Bao. Thank you. It's fine. It's my duty. Tang Bao took the box and returned to the tent. Di Hao Yan was still lying inside. He rested his hands on the back of his head in a lazy posture. They watched as Tang Bao walked in with a box in his hand. Di Hao Yan, I want to give you a gift. Tang Bao knelt down beside Di Hao Yan. Di Hao Yan's gaze fell on the box in Tang Bao's hand. He pursed his thin lips and did not speak. Did he bring him here to give him a gift? Although he had lost his memory, he was not interested in gifts at all. He did not think that he would lack anything. However, he was a little curious about what gift Tang Bao wanted to give him by bringing him here. At this moment, the surrounding lights went out, and the tent was suddenly swallowed by darkness. Everything was pitch black. Di Hao Yan's black eyes narrowed in the darkness. He gathered light and saw Tang Bao sitting beside him. He could not help but sit up. Di Hao Yan, Tang Bao called him. Then, he fumbled with the box and opened it. When he heard Tang Bao calling him, Di Hao Yan's black eyes turned slightly and froze. He saw many fireflies flying up and flashing with green light. They lit up the originally dark tent with green light. Di Hao Yan's gaze fell on those fireflies. His heartbeat began to become abnormal, and his black eyes were dazed. What kind of gift did he think it was? No matter how valuable an item was, he would not be too emotional. However, these little fireflies made his mood change. Or perhaps it was too unexpected that he stared at those fireflies absent-mindedly. Under the green halo, Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Yan's expression. It was as if he hoped that Di Hao Yan could recover his memory in the next second. Di Hao Yan, do you like it? Tang Bao asked softly. Di Hao Yan pursed his thin lips and did not speak. However, his gaze that fell on Tang Bao's clear and expectant eyes seemed to be so deep that it wanted to drill into them. Do you remember anything? Tang Bao asked. She waited for Di Hao Yan's answer. However, she knew that Di Hao Yan would not remember it so easily, but she still asked. In the end, Di Hao Yan's silence made her heart sink slightly. Do you know? You were the one who used such romantic means on me. That time, you brought me to the hot spring, slept in the tent, and released fireflies for me in the dark tent. You don't know how touched I was at that time. I think I will never forget that moment for the rest of my life. I just didn't expect that the person I forgot was you. As Tang Bao spoke, his eyes were stained with thin tears. They sparkled under the fluorescent light, and he looked sad and sad. Di Hao Yan's breathing was heavy, and his heart began to beat irregularly again. He should turn his gaze away and ignore it, but he could not look away from Tang Bao's face. When did this happen? In December. I was in the tent and told you a story from a horror movie. I even scared myself. Then, you wanted to come out of the tent to pee. I was very scared, but I didn't stop you. I even reminded you not to get caught by the bad guys. I was alone in the tent waiting for you to come back. When you came back, you turned off the lights. Then I saw fireflies flying in the dark tent. Di Hao Ian, do you really not remember anything at all? Tang Bao described it in detail. She remembered it clearly. She did not believe that Di Hao Ian did not remember anything at all. That was what he did to her. How could he forget? Are you lying to me? Di Hao Ian endured the extreme discomfort in his chest and asked suspiciously, I'm not. I won't lie to you. Ever since you lost your memory, everything I said to you is true. Tang Bao quickly explained. Then tell me, where did the fireflies come from in December? There are by the hot springs. At that time, I asked you the same thing, and that's what you told me, Tang Bao said anxiously. She was afraid that Di Hao Ian would not believe her. Di Hao Ian looked at the dancing fireflies. Fireflies in December really existed? Was he the one who did it? If it was fake, it would be easily exposed. And Tang Bao could be said to be the fireflies that he caught for her on Midsummer Night. It was March now, and it was not the season for fireflies. But they did exist. Most importantly, he looked at Tang Bao's anxious and thorough eyes and seemed to have lost his mind. Di Hao Qian lay down and stared at the fireflies with his dark eyes. He also wanted to recover his memory as soon as possible. What exactly happened between him and Tang Bao? Why did his heart hurt? If everything Tang Bao said to him was true, then how deep were his feelings for her? Chapter 504. Tang Bao lay down beside Di Hao Ian and asked in a low voice, What else did we do after watching the fireflies? Di Hao Ian looked at the dancing fireflies and asked in a low voice. Tang Bao pursed his lips. His eyes flickered, and his face was burning. Di Hao Ian turned around and saw the guilt in Tang Bao's eyes. Is it hard to say? Di Hao Ian's eyes were a little cold. No, it's not that. After the fireflies, we kissed and did that. Tang Bao's face was red as she shyly blinked her eyes and said. Di Hao Ian understood what did that meant. He was a man. Of course, he understood. There was a thick awkwardness in the air. Di Hao Ian withdrew his gaze from Tang Bao and looked at the top of the tent without looking sideways. However, his body began to heat up. Tang Bao did not do anything. He just said that. Why did he have such a reaction? And it was not something he could control just because he wanted to. Tang Bao also cleared his throat to hide his discomfort. In the air that was so quiet that it was hot, Tang Bao thought of the seduction that Yu Lianlian told him. Originally, Tang Bao wanted to try to help Di Hao Ian recover his memory with the memories of the past. Now it seemed that it had no effect at all. So, should he try seduction? Di Hao Ian, I feel a little hot. Let me take off my clothes, Tang Bao said, sat up, and took off all his clothes. He also pressed himself against Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian's blood suddenly boiled. This was a normal reaction. From the time he was admitted to the hospital until now, he had not touched any woman. For a man, this was the limit. Tang Bao waited for a long time, but Di Hao Ian did not react. He had really lost his memory. In the past, Di Hao Ian would not have been like this. He would have been like a wolf or a tiger, as if he had not done it in tens of thousands of years. What about now? Abstinence? This wouldn't do. She was already undressed like this. If he didn't continue, wouldn't he be giving up halfway? Di Hao Ian, do you know what you used to like the most about me? Tang Bao asked Di Hao Ian in a low voice. Di Hao Ian's Adam's apple moved seductively. It was as if some delicacy was tempting him, causing him to have a primitive reaction. Here, Tang Bao faced Di Hao Ian and lifted the blanket off his body. Di Hao Ian's black eyes immediately darkened, and his voice was low and hoarse. Don't provoke him. I'm telling the truth. Before Tang Bao could finish her sentence, Di Hao Ian turned over and pinned her down. A strong shadow came down from above and enveloped Tang Bao's body tightly. Tang Bao looked at the man above him, who was like a ferocious beast. Her heart beat faster and her face flushed. Di Hao Ian, Tang Bao called out to him in a hurry. Was this how you seduced me in the past to make me marry you? Di Hao Ian's black eyes were deep and sharp. No. Tang Bao shook her head. Di Hao Ian reached out and clamped Tang Bao's chin. He lifted her slightly and said with a strong aura, I remember you said that before I recover my memory, I can't touch Lan Wanru. Then how do I know if I'm betraying her if I touch you? How can you betray her? We're husband and wife. Tang Bao disagreed. Must husband and wife have feelings for each other? Then why did you marry me? You have to ask yourself that. Di Haoyan's black eyes were cold. Tang Bao's mood was completely gone. What seduction? She was asking to be humiliated. Get down. Tang Bao struggled and tried to push Di Haoyan away with both hands. However, Di Haoyan's body was heavy. As long as he didn't want to, he couldn't get down. I told you to get down. Didn't you hear? Tang Bao's words were stuck in her throat. Her face was red as she looked at him. Her face was tense, and her black eyes were dark and unbearable. It was as if she was going to devour her. Wasn't this person unwilling? Wasn't this reaction too fast? Are you trying to reject me? Di Haoyan suppressed his emotions, trying to keep his voice from becoming hoarse. Tang Bao heard him and stared at him with her almond-shaped eyes. Yes, I'm trying to reject you. You can see it. Can you get down now? She wasn't in the mood to do what he wanted. What he said was too insulting. She was already throwing herself at him, wasn't she? Won't I disappoint you if I go down? Di Haoyan sneered. What do you mean? I'll satisfy you. Tang Bao was stunned when she realized what Di Haoyan was going to do. She didn't want it anymore, but Di Haoyan was interested? No, rather than being interested, it was more like he was humiliating her. What did he mean by satisfying her? Did she look like that kind of person? However, Di Haoyan didn't give her a chance to hesitate. He held her down tightly. Be gentle. Tang Bao struggled. How long had it been since she last did this with Di Haoyan? There was also a strong sense of discomfort. However, Di Haoyan didn't kiss her like he used to. He was using force. Tang Bao thought of the time when the two of them fell out because of the child. When she moved to the Tang family, Di Haoyan went over once. They were just like this. They didn't kiss. Tang Bao wanted to struggle, but when she heard Di Haoyan's rough and hoarse breathing, she didn't struggle anymore. Instead, she cooperated. It also reminded her of the time when she ran away from home during the New Year. Di Haoyan went to look for her. Every night, Tang Bao rejected Di Haoyan's advances. When they stayed in the hotel room before the accident, Di Haoyan's desire was so obvious. However, she still turned around and ran away. Until now, Di Haoyan hadn't touched her. Tang Bao's heart was filled with deep pain and regret. How good would it be if she didn't reject Di Haoyan back then? It hurts. Tang Bao felt like she was going to be bitten. Di Haoyan pinched Tang Bao's little face with one hand. Her little face was deformed from the pinch. Her little mouth was pressed so hard that it was pouting, as if he was asking for a kiss. Why? Who are you thinking about? It seems that I didn't work hard enough. I'm not thinking about anyone. Tang Bao put her hands on Di Haoyan's broad shoulders. Her watery eyes were covered with a layer of mist. They were shimmering and beautiful. Di Haoyan's dark eyes were locked on those beautiful and seductive eyes. He felt his blood rushing. Tang Bao wrapped her arms around Di Haoyan's neck and pulled him down. Then, their lips were pressed together. Tang Bao didn't want to not kiss. Sometimes, kissing was more important than any other action. It was easier to get emotional. Di Haoyan didn't know how he kissed Tang Bao. He wanted to retreat after the kiss, but once he tasted her, he didn't want to leave. Instead, he deepened it. He was like a greedy beast. Chapter 505. It was as if the sky could not separate them, even if it collapsed. The dancing fireflies seemed to be so embarrassed by the scene that they had nowhere to hide. Tang Bao completely let go of herself. No matter how Di Haoyan drained her, she cooperated. Especially when she heard Di Haoyan growl like a beast every time, she would throb and want to cry because it was so familiar. She wanted to hear more and make it harder for him to control himself. And the result of Di Haoyan being unable to control himself was that Tang Bao almost fainted. When Tang Bao woke up, the sky was already bright. She opened her eyes sleepily and met Di Haoyan's dark eyes. Tang Bao immediately woke up. Her face was still a little hot when she thought about what the two of them did last night. I finally understand now why I want to marry you. Di Haoyan looked at Tang Bao and said, What? Tang Bao also wanted to know what Di Haoyan was thinking. Your performance was not bad. Tang Bao felt that she must be in a daze now. Then, she sat up excitedly, but suddenly pulled her waist that was about to break. She sobbed in pain. Ugh! Ah! Di Haoyan's gaze fell on her arm that was not completely covered. Her fair skin was dotted with flower-like marks. That was naturally caused by him. One could imagine how intense and out of control he was last night. After he lost his memory, he thought that he was emotionless and desireless. He did not expect to be surprised. It was as if he could not be satisfied. Tang Bao fainted, but he did not stop. He insisted on waking her up and knocking her out again. It was like a cycle. Di Haoyan, what nonsense are you talking about? Tang Bao, who had recovered, almost shouted with a red face. What did he mean by her kung fu was not bad? She knew what he meant the moment she heard it. He actually had the nerve to say that? Did I? Why not? My first time was given to you. How could I have any kung fu? Even if I had, it was you who taught me. Tang Bao's face was red with anger. She was both embarrassed and angry. Di Haoyan could not remember if Tang Bao's first time was given to him. But when he heard this, he felt a surge of joy in his heart. His mood instantly improved. He sat up and put on the clothes beside him as he said, "Seeing that your kung fu is not bad, I won't make things too difficult for you in the future as long as you are obedient." After that, he put on his clothes and left the tent. Tang Bao was left sitting under the quilt speechlessly. What was he talking about? What did he mean by seeing that her kung fu was not bad? Could it be that her cooperation had become Di Haoyan's twisted understanding? It was as if Di Haoyan had taken pity on her because she was a slut. Other than that, Di Haoyan showed no signs of regaining his memory. Last night was already so intense, but there was still no effect. Not only that, but Di Haoyan's words were even harsher. Tang Bao felt that his efforts were in vain. On the way back, no matter how comfortable the car was, Tang Bao felt uncomfortable all over. It was true. She was almost tortured to death by Di Haoyan. There was not a single part of her body that was unharmed. It was as if the bones that had just been pieced together would fall apart at the slightest touch. Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyan, and Di Haoyan was also looking at her. Their eyes met. Di Haoyan felt his heart skip a beat, as if it had been teased. His dark eyes were filled with a deep luster. Di Haoyan, can you hug me? I still want to sleep. I'm so sleepy. I didn't sleep much last night. Tang Bao acted coquettishly and looked at him with watery eyes. Di Haoyan did not say anything and turned his face away. Tang Bao lay down directly and rested her head on Di Haoyan's strong thigh. Di Haoyan frowned. Did I let you sleep like this? Tang Bao closed his eyes. The corners of his mouth curled up. Di Haoyan, who had lost his memory, was really awkward. Di Haoyan looked at Tang Bao, who had closed her eyes and was about to fall asleep. He should just toss her aside. But in the end, he did not do that. For the sake of last night, he would let her be. Not long after, the sound of even breathing could be heard. Her long eyelashes were resting quietly. Di Haoyan's gaze fell on her slightly pouty pink lips. His dark eyes deepened. He still remembered what it was like. After tasting it, it made him greedy. Di Haoyan's sexy Adam's apple moved, and he suppressed his gaze and looked out of the car window. It didn't matter. He could wait until night. Anyway, she was married to him. He should enjoy her. Di Haoyan thought of something and frowned deeply. Did he really marry Tang Bao? Because of this? If he was really obsessed with her body, wouldn't it be the same to keep her as a lover for a while? If he was tired of her, he could use money to pass the time. Why did he marry her? Di Haoyan couldn't help but feel irritated. He should recover his memory as soon as possible. After Juan Malay got off work, she thought for a while and decided to go to the hospital to see Hiju. He was really good at lying down. He hadn't woken up yet. Juan Malay bought a meal and went straight to the hospital. When she entered the ward, Hiju was still lying quietly. There was a nurse beside him. Have you eaten? Juan Malay asked. Not yet. I'll watch. You go eat, Juan Malay said. The nurse left the ward. Juan Malay looked at Hiju, who had his eyes closed, then sat on the stool by the bed, opened her lunchbox, and began to eat. As she ate, she spoke to Hiju. You usually look quite impressive. Why did you drop the ball at such a critical moment? You're too good at sleeping. The young master has been awake for a long time, but you still don't show any signs of waking up. You really shouldn't. Juan Malay stuffed a piece of sweet and sour pork ribs in her mouth, spat out the bone, and chewed the meat. Then, she said, I hope you wake up soon. I come to see you every 2 to 3 days. Everyone thinks that I'm your girlfriend. Behind my back, they all think that I'm a good woman who's infatuated with you. Juan Malay said and laughed at herself. I can only say that I'm unlucky. Let me tell you, I was forced to come here by the Tang Bao. I didn't really want to come here. Juan Malay ate the food in the lunchbox and said, a person like you must be so cold that you don't even eat meat. So, it's your blessing that I can come to see you. Just as Juan Malay was talking enthusiastically, Hiju opened her eyes on the bed. I say, puffed. Juan Malay met Hiju's open eyes and spat out the food in her mouth. All of it sprayed on the blanket that Hiju was covered with. Juan Malay wondered if she was seeing things. She stood up and moved closer. Hiju's eyes really opened. "Du, you're awake?" Juan Malay asked. Hiju looked at her. If he wasn't awake, how could he open his eyes? Are you really awake? Juan Malay asked again. I don't have the habit of sleeping with my eyes open. Then you're awake. His tone was as annoying as before. I'll call the doctor. As Juan Malay spoke, she pressed the doctor's call bell. Chapter 506. Hiju's body was examined. Juan Malay stopped eating and stood at the side to watch the doctor examine him. Looking at Hiju's face, which was as cold as when he was awake, she thought, he should be fine, right? It was really surprising that he would wake up. She was still eating. It gave her a fright. After the doctor finished the examination, he said, he's fine. His vitals are normal. He's really fine? Juan Malay asked. Yes, he's fine as long as he wakes up. After he's fed, help him walk around the ward. After all, he's been lying in bed for too long, the doctor said. Oh, okay. Juan Malay thought, help him? Of course not. Wasn't there a nurse watching over him? After the doctor left, Juan Malay said, I'll get you something to eat. You woke up at the right time. It's lunchtime in the hospital cafeteria. I'll go and see what's good. With that, he left. Hiju lay on the bed and looked at Juan Malay until Juan Malay left the ward. He thought, could it be that Juan Malay had been taking care of him while he was unconscious? This didn't seem to be very understandable. Then Hiju's thoughts started to wander in the impossible. Juan Malay got Hiju some food and asked Hiju to sit on the bed and handed him a bowl. Hiju didn't take it. What's wrong? You don't like it? But you can only eat bland food now, Juan Malay said. Feed me. I don't have the strength. I see. Seeing that he didn't have the strength, Juan Malay scooped up the porridge and fed him personally. What would she do? The nurse went to eat. If she knew that he would wake up today, she wouldn't have come. Hiju wouldn't have the wrong idea when he saw her the moment he woke up, right? I just happened to come to see you today. I didn't expect you to wake up. As Juan Malay fed him, he said, the Tang Bao asked me to come and see you. If I don't come, people will think that you have no one to care about you. You're quite pitiful. Where's the young master? Hiju didn't react to Juan Malay's words and only asked. He's pretty good. Juan Malay thought for a while and said, he's not too good either. The young master has lost his memory. Hiju was slightly stunned as he looked at Juan Malay. Didn't your car fall off a cliff? The young master's head was injured, and he even had surgery. After he woke up, he couldn't remember anything. But don't worry, other than the fact that he can't remember people, everything else is fine, including the Tang Bao. Hiju asked. Yes, now he's very cold to the Tang Bao and very nice to Lan Wanru. It's like the Tang Bao's kindness has been transferred to Lan Wanru. The key is that the young master doesn't believe the Tang Bao's words, and his mother is causing trouble. Anyway, things aren't going well. The most pitiful one is the Tang Bao. I say, after your discharge from the hospital, you must tell the young master the truth. Otherwise, the Tang Bao will be too pitiful, Juan Malay said. Hiju didn't expect so many things to happen while he was unconscious. Amnesia? Everyone doesn't remember? Doesn't that include me? After eating, Juan Malay continued to sit by the bed and didn't move. You can help me up and walk, Hiju said. Me? The nurse will be back soon. Let's wait a little longer. Juan Malay didn't want to help him walk. Don't you like me? Ju's words were shocking. What did you say? Juan Malay exploded. Who likes you? When I was unconscious, I seem to have heard someone say that you were my girlfriend. Can you not take out of context? Did I say that? I said that other people thought so. So you're not going to help me? Ju asked. Juan Malay gritted his teeth. Forget it. He didn't know when the nurse would be back. Moreover, he still had to rely on him for the Tang Bao. What if he was unhappy and only cared about himself and ignored the Tang Bao? So, he had to endure the humiliation. Juan Malay helped Ju up and walked back and forth in the ward. Juan Malay had never been so close to a man before. Now, she was almost pressed against Ju's body. Sigh. She was really enduring the humiliation. If there are no problems, you could be discharged in 2 or 3 days, Juan Malay said. When you go to look for the young master, you must speak up for the Tang Bao. I know. Even if Juan Malay didn't say it, Ju knew what to do. Because Di Hao Ian didn't like Lan Wanru at all. How could he have anything to do with Lan Wanru? If he didn't do anything, it would be considered his dereliction of duty. Let me tell you something else. The young master transferred Zhou Jisen back to T. Ju frowned and looked at Juan Malay. The situation is very serious, right? So, don't think that it's easy. Ju didn't say anything. It was indeed much more serious than he thought. How could the young master forget about the Tang Bao so completely? What did you say? Ju woke up. Di Lingyue, who was still socializing outside, was shocked when he received a call from the nurse in the hospital. Yes, he woke up. Di Haoqian hung up the phone immediately. He was very anxious and angry. At first, after Di Haoqian woke up, he tried to bribe someone to attack Ju, who knew that he was almost discovered by the bodyguards on duty. The person he sent was so scared that he turned around and ran away. The matter was almost exposed, so he didn't do his second time. He wanted to wait for the bodyguards to lower their vigilance before making a move, but he didn't expect him to wake up so quickly. Di Lingyue thought that he was just one of Di Haoqian's bodyguards, and that his identity was just so. But he forgot. Ju was the one who gave the orders to Di Haoqian's bodyguards. In their eyes, they were closer to Ju. Di Haoqian was the kind of person who was unapproachable. Therefore, after discovering that something was wrong with the attack, they naturally didn't dare to relax their protection of Ju. Because those people would definitely find an opportunity to attack. Di Lingyue paced around in his office. Ju woke up, which meant that he would tell Di Haoqian the truth. Then he would be in danger. Di Lingyue hurriedly called Lan Wanru. Ju woke up. He woke up? He just woke up not long ago. He will definitely tell Di Haoqian the truth. Do you have any good ideas? Di Lingyue asked. Lan Wanru smiled faintly. Uncle, don't worry. If he tells Brother Haoqian will have to believe him. If he does something that makes Brother Haoqian suspicious, Brother Haoqian won't believe him. I told you Wanru is the smartest. Di Lingyue praised. Uncle, don't worry. I will take care of this. Okay. After Lan Wanru hung up the phone, he had a determined expression on his face. She was schemed against by Tang Bao and chased out of the castle. She still hadn't taken this lying down. How could she not turn the situation around? Ju was just a bodyguard. Why would she care about him? After Lan Wanru received Di Lingyue's call, he went to Yu Sangwan's office. Chapter 507. Moreover, if Di Haoqian recovered his memory and wanted to pursue the matter, it wouldn't be her idea. No matter how angry Di Haoqian was, Yu Sangwan was his biological mother, so he wouldn't do anything. Lan Wanru entered the bungalow. When Annie Wong saw her, she immediately smiled. Miss Biao is here. The old madam is preparing the blessings after dinner. It's okay, I'll wait here. Why don't I call the old madam? Annie Wong said. Please don't. If you call, I can only leave, Lan Wanru said gently. Seeing that she was so considerate and sensible, the smile on Annie Wong's face became even wider. No wonder the old madam wanted Lan Wanru to marry the young master so much. It wasn't without reason. As a mother-in-law, she liked such a daughter-in-law. After Yu Sangwan woke up naturally, Auntie Wong made her a cup of tea and said, Miss Biao is here. Where's she? Outside. Yu Song-hwan stood by the door and saw Lan Wanru standing beside the flowers and plants outside. What a gentle scene. Miss Biao was here a long time ago. Seeing that you were busy, she didn't let me call you and waited here, Auntie Wong said. Yu Song-hwan nodded in satisfaction. If it was the Tang Bao, she would definitely make a fuss and give me a headache. Go and call her in. Yes. Lan Wanru came in and saw Yu Song-hwan. She immediately smiled gently. Aunt, how have you been recently? With you thinking about me, how can I not be well? Why are you here so late? Aren't you accompanying Hao Yin? Lan Wanru's expression changed. Yu Song-hwan saw it and felt that something had happened. He asked, what's wrong? Nothing. I just feel that I can't stay in the castle forever, so I've been home for 2 days. Why didn't you tell me? Yu Song-hwan frowned. This is a small matter, and I didn't want to trouble First Aunt, so I didn't want to tell you. After staying at home for 2 days, I'll still go see Brother Hao Yin. Lan Wanru said considerately. Yu Song-hwan's expression suddenly turned ugly. I understand, even if you don't say it. It must be related to the Tang Bao, right? No, I want to go back myself. Yu Song-hwan didn't think that there was nothing going on inside. Lan Wanru liked Di Hao Yin so much. How would he go back by himself? Auntie, don't be angry. I'll tell you the truth. I was planning to return to the castle today. But when I heard something, I didn't dare to go. What is it? He-ju woke up. He was Brother Hao Yin's personal bodyguard. He must have said something to Brother Hao Yin. I was scared, so I didn't go. Lan Wanru said timidly. He woke up? When did this happen? Yu Song-hwan was surprised. Just today. I thought it was something serious. How could such a small matter scare you? Yu Song-hwan thought that she was really timid and cute. But the person Brother Hao Yin likes is the Tang Bao. If He-ju told Di Hao Yin about the past, then wouldn't I no longer have Brother Hao Yin's attention? He definitely won't believe me. Lan Wanru said weakly. Then if you don't go to the castle, it'll be fine? You're just avoiding it. Yu Song-hwan said. Then what should I do? Yu Song-hwan's eyes were calculating, and he sneered. Everything has a solution. It's just whether you can think of it or not. If Hao Yin doesn't even believe his own bodyguard, then He-ju's existence is no threat. Lan Wanru lowered her scheming eyes. He had the same thoughts as her, but this kind of thing couldn't be done by her. After dinner, Di Hao Yin returned to the study. Tang Bao sat alone in the hall, watching a movie in boredom. She thought about how long it would take for Di Hao Yin to come out of the study. Forget it. No matter how long it would take, she would wait. As a wife, she still had to do this, right? When she came back, she fell asleep in the car. When she woke up, she was in the master bedroom of the castle. She was very surprised. She thought that Di Hao Yin would wake her up directly when they arrived at the castle. He didn't even ignore that she had fallen asleep in the car and directly carried her back to the room. This made her heart throb, although this was one of the normal behaviors in the past. But for Tang Bao, even a little bit of kindness to her was precious. Tang Bao finished watching a movie in the hall, but Di Hao Yin still hadn't come out of the study. Couldn't he rest for a while? Tang Bao wanted to go to bed early because she hadn't recovered from last night's physical activity. Young madam, are you hungry? You used to like to eat assorted noodles the most. Do you want me to get the kitchen to make it now? Zhongli asked. Okay, you go and make it. Don't put meat in it, Tang Bao reminded. I know. Zhongli immediately went to make it happily. This morning, she saw Di Hao Yin carry young madam back. After knowing that young madam had accidentally fallen asleep in the car, she was instantly overjoyed. Did that mean that the situation between the two of them had improved? Even if young Master Di had lost his memory, he wouldn't forget his feelings for young madam. Tang Bao turned off the television and waited for the assorted noodles to arrive. She didn't really want to eat it, but it reminded her of the bowl of noodles she had eaten with Di Hao Yin in the past. After the assorted noodles were ready, Zhang Li called over. Give it to me. Tang Bao took the noodles and said, help me knock on the door of the study room. Zhang Li immediately understood what Tang Bao meant and nodded with a smile. When she reached the door of the study room, Zhang Li knocked on the door. Open it, Tang Bao said. Zhang Li thought, young Master Di hasn't even responded yet, and she's already pushing it away? Thinking that young madam wasn't just anyone, she pushed the door open. Tang Bao first poked her head in and saw Di Hao Yin sitting behind the desk. Then, she carried the noodles in. Zhang Li closed the door behind her. Di Hao Yin, can I come in? Tang Bao asked with a smile. Di Hao Yin looked at her indifferently. You can't come in, but you've already come in. Tang Bao placed the noodles in front of Di Hao Yin. Eat, it's very delicious. No need. Then eat less. You used to like assorted noodles the most. Di Hao Yin looked at her suspiciously. He didn't think he would like to eat this kind of food. I'm not lying to you. You used to snatch the food I ate, Tang Bao said seriously. Tang Bao directly handed the chopsticks to Di Hao Yin. Eat a few mouthfuls. Trust me, I guarantee that you won't let go even if you slap your mouth. Di Hao Yin, can't you see that I'm busy? Tang Bao turned her head and glanced at his computer. It was filled with dense data. You have to eat even if you're busy. I don't have the habit of eating at night, Di Hao Yin said. Then you should eat less, okay? Eat a few mouthfuls, and I'll eat the rest, okay? If you want to eat my saliva, just say it. Di Hao Yin's cold black eyes flashed with a devilish luster. Chapter 508. She just wanted to regain the feeling of the past. How could it be as ambiguous as he thought? Memories can be forgotten, but taste can't. Do you understand what I mean? Then why did you fight with me in the past? No, Di Hao Yin, what do you mean? Do you think I'm lying to you? You're really fighting with me for the noodles. Tang Bao was anxious to explain. It's just noodles. Don't be so agitated. Di Hao Yin picked up the noodles with his chopsticks and began to eat. It tasted good in his mouth, but he was not interested. But why did he want to eat? Did he want to eat his second mouthful? The third mouthful, the fourth mouthful, the fifth mouthful. Di Hao Yin, can I have some? Tang Bao asked. Before Di Hao Yin could say anything, Tang Bao snatched his chopsticks and began to slurp the noodles. Di Hao Yin looked at her indifferently. You prepared these noodles for me? I'm craving them. Don't be so stingy. Tang Bao chewed the noodles in her mouth. Di Hao Yin looked at her eating with relish, so he didn't fight with her for it. Her small mouth wriggled, and her palm-sized face was stuffed with noodles. Di Hao Yin's mind flashed with the word cute, so he stared at Tang Bao's small face. And her small mouth that had eaten noodles and drunk soup turned from pink to bright red. It was very small and attractive. Di Hao Yin's black eyes could not help but stare at her and deepen. His breathing also began to become heavier. Tang Bao ate a few mouthfuls and drank a big mouthful of soup. She looked satisfied. Just as she was about to ask Di Hao Yin if he still wanted to eat, she felt a grip on her wrist. She was stunned. Then, a force directly pulled her over. Tang Bao jumped into Di Hao Yin's arms in shock. His firm chest made her heart shake. She raised her small face and looked at Di Hao Yin's chiseled face in confusion, as well as his deep black eyes. She was stunned by the danger inside. Before he could regain his senses, his lower jaw was lifted, and a shadow loomed over him. Her little mouth, which was still eating noodles, was swallowed by Di Hao Yin. Tang Bao's long eyelashes fluttered. Her mind was in a mess. Why did Di Hao Yin suddenly kiss her? It was as if he wanted to eat her whole. However, it seemed that this was not all. Di Hao Yin clearly wanted more. Di Hao Yin, what are you doing? Don't. Tang Bao began to resist. Her body hadn't recovered yet, and she didn't want to be like this. Also, why is Di Hao Yin acting like this again? Di Hao Yin's dark eyes stared at her like a beast's. Why? Are you unwilling? Why do you want to be with me? Tang Bao asked. Isn't this your duty as a wife? Di Hao Yin asked. Is that all? Tang Bao hoped that Di Hao Yin would quickly recover his memory because of this. However, Di Hao Yin obviously didn't want her because he cared about her. He just wanted to satisfy his own needs. Di Hao Yin looked at Tang Bao's seemingly unwilling expression and pushed her away. Get out if you don't want to. Tang Bao staggered 2 steps back. Looking at Di Hao Yin's obviously cold face, she knew that he was angry. However, she felt that she shouldn't spoil Di Hao Yin. If he wanted it so often, wasn't he afraid that his body couldn't take it? Last night, they didn't stop for almost the entire night. They only slept for a while at dawn. Di Hao Yin didn't know how to control himself, but she couldn't be ignorant. Therefore, Tang Bao bit her lips, took the unfinished noodles, and left the study. The door of the study closed. She left just like that. Di Hao Yin's face darkened to the extreme. Didn't she see that his face had turned cold? She actually ignored him and left. How dare she? He couldn't look at the data on the computer anymore. His mind was filled with anger. He was about to lose his mind. Then, he directly ignored Tang Bao's emotions and forced himself on her. However, he didn't think that it was a big deal to force himself on her. It seemed like it was normal for him. After Tang Bao returned to her room, she went straight to take a shower. After taking a shower, she went back to bed and lay down. She wrapped herself up tightly. No matter what, she wouldn't compromise. She couldn't let Di Hao Yin do this kind of thing again. She did this for the sake of Di Hao Yin's health. When Di Hao Yin returned to his room, he saw that Tang Bao was already asleep on the bed. She was completely unconscious. One of her feet was still outside the blanket. It was fair and small, clean and cute. Di Hao Yin's gaze fell on it and was stunned. He felt that the foot was so cute that it was tempting. However, when he thought of Tang Bao's rejection, he stubbornly turned his gaze away and went to the bathroom. Tang Bao slept all the way until dawn. She slept very well. When she woke up, she was alone in bed. When did Di Hao Yin wake up? Looking at the time, it was almost noon. After washing up, she left the room and went downstairs. She didn't see Di Hao Yin either. Zhongli walked over. Young madam, young Master Di went to tea. When did he leave? He left after breakfast, Zhongli said. Young madam, shall we have lunch now? You didn't even eat breakfast. Okay. Tang Bao returned to her room after eating. She took out her phone and looked at it. She found her cell phone in the bag and saw that there were 3 calls from Wan Milai. She was stunned. Why was he looking for her? If there was nothing, Wan Milai would only call once. If there was something, he would call her repeatedly. Tang Bao called back. The call was connected. Are you looking for me? I called you yesterday. You only saw it now? I was a little busy. Tang Bao touched her nose guiltily. She had been resting yesterday. After that, her mind was focused on Di Hao Yin. How could she have time to look at her phone? I have good news for you. What? Tang Bao thought that as long as it wasn't bad news, it was fine. He-Ju woke up. Really? Tang Bao was excited. Of course. He woke up during dinner yesterday. I called you, but you didn't pick up. I'll come over now. Tang Bao put down the phone and went downstairs with her bag. Zhongli saw her and asked, Young madam, are you going to the company? Yes. What do you want to eat for dinner? I'll tell the kitchen. No meat is fine. Tang Bao disappeared after saying that. Zhongli was speechless. Tang Bao rushed to the hospital. He-Ju rushed into the ward and saw He-Ju sitting on the bed and being fed by the nurse. He had just finished eating. Tang Bao pounced on the bed excitedly. He-Ju, you're finally awake. I've been waiting for you. Young madam. He-Ju called her. If you didn't wake up, I wouldn't be the young madam anymore. Tang Bao wanted to cry, but had no tears. You don't believe me? Tang Bao looked at He-Ju and asked. Wan Milai already told me. He-Ju said. Then you must help me explain it to Di Hao Yin. Otherwise, I'm done for. I will. Chapter 509. I'll cherish her. This time, it was Tang Bao's turn to be dumbfounded. He was so straightforward. Not sloppy at all. She liked it. Tang Bao came back to his senses and asked, Why don't I see Milai? Where is she? She didn't come. This is ridiculous. How could she put work first? Tang Bao said, not acting like a boss. Then, he directly called Wan Milai. Where are you? I'm eating at the company. What are you doing? What do you think? Don't you come to the hospital to see He-Ju? Tang Bao asked matter-of-factly. I just went yesterday, Wan Milai said. I came yesterday, so of course I have to come today. He-Ju is already awake, so I have to come every day until he is discharged. He-Ju was speechless. Wan Milai was speechless. Wan Milai felt awkward and uncomfortable at the hospital yesterday, so she would not go today no matter what. Now, she was being chased away by Tang Bao. If she had known, she would not have told her that Ju was already awake. Her face started to heat up even before she went. It was strange. In the past, she did not have any reaction when she saw Ju. Now, she had a strong reaction even before she saw him. What the hell? I said, can you hear me? Wan Malay's heart trembled. I seem to have a lot of work to do. I don't have time to talk to you. Bye. After that, she hung up. Tang Bao stared at the phone. She dared to hang up on her? Did she grow hair on her guts? Forget it. I'm fine now. I don't need her here, Ju said. Tang Bao sat down on the chair next to him and said with a smile, she must be shy. Let me tell you, Malay has never had a boyfriend before. You have to seize the opportunity and take the initiative. I will. Tang Bao thought about it and felt that there was no problem in this aspect. After all, Ju had been with Di Hao Yin for a long time, so he could understand it. Di Hao Yin's overbearingness was simply the kind that had never been seen before and would never be seen again. While Tang Bao and Ju were talking in the ward, someone was secretly taking pictures of them through the slit in the window. Ju sensed something and shouted, "Who's outside?" Tang Bao was stunned. He quickly got up and opened the door. After running out, she happened to see the back of a man turning to the side. When Tang Bao chased after him, he was already gone. Who is this? What are you doing? Back in the ward, Tang Bao said to Ju, a man ran away. Did you see him? No. I feel a shadow moving around. Tang Bao looked out the window. There was only a slit, so he definitely couldn't see the person's face. She didn't even know what he was doing. Could it be that someone wants to harm you? Tang Bao asked. I don't think so. If they want to harm me, they won't wait until I wake up. They will do it when I'm unconscious, Ju said. Tang Bao felt uncomfortable. He also felt a little uneasy. Why would someone be sneaking around outside the window? I'm going out to make a call, Tang Bao said and left the ward. She was going to call Di Hao Yin. The call went out, but no one answered. Tang Bao was depressed. Was Di Hao Yin still angry? But she had something important to tell him, especially what happened just now. It made her feel very uneasy. When Tang Bao called again, the call went through. Di Hao Yin, why didn't you answer my call until now? I have something to tell you, Tang Bao said impatiently as soon as the call went through. What do you want to tell me? Lan Wanru's voice came from the other end. Tang Bao was stunned, and her face suddenly turned pale. Why do you have Di Hao Yin's cell phone? What do you think? Of course it's because Brother Hao Yin is with me. Can't you think of this? With your intelligence, think about it. Why would I pick up Brother Hao Yin's cell phone? Tang Bao's breathing was irregular. Her chest felt very heavy and sore. Let him answer the phone. I'm afraid Brother Hao Yin doesn't have time to answer the phone. He's tired and sleeping on my bed. Do you know what we were doing just now? Brother Hao Yin didn't touch me before he lost his memory, but it doesn't mean that he won't touch me after he loses his memory. Tang Bao, does it hurt to hear this? Lan Wanru's proud voice came through. Tang Bao felt that her brain was short of oxygen, and it made her dizzy. Di Hao Yin was sleeping on Lan Wanru's bed? Why was he sleeping? Was he tired after sleeping with Lan Wanru? Then why was Lan Wanru so clear-headed? Tang Bao's thoughts were as if she had just escaped death. Lan Wanru, you're really shameless. How can you tell such a lie? I believe that Di Hao Yin is with you, but sleeping with you is absolutely impossible. Why is it impossible? Who do you think you are? Lan Wanru's expression was not good. If I say it's impossible, then it's impossible. He didn't touch you, Tang Bao said firmly. Lan Wanru was so angry that he directly hung up the phone. The point was that Di Hao Yin, who had gone to the bathroom, was about to come out. As soon as she put down the phone, Di Hao Yin came out. I'm going back to tea. I'll come and see you next time. You don't have to trouble Brother Hao Yin to come and see me. I can also go and see Brother Hao Yin. Lan Wanru stood up and smiled gently, as if he had thought of something. Brother Hao Yin, Tang Bao, called just now. I saw that you weren't there, so I picked it up for you. Give her a call and see if she has something urgent. Di Hao Yin's dark eyes were slightly stunned. He looked at the phone that was placed at the side, and his eyes narrowed slightly. Don't touch my phone in the future. These words were said calmly, but they carried an aura that could not be defied. The smile on Lan Wanru's face froze, And then he said gently, "Okay, I'll remember." Di Hao Ian did not think that he was blaming Lan Wanru. He was just reminding her. Even if he had lost his memory, he did not like people touching his things without his permission. This kind of boldness seemed to be innate. It had little to do with memory loss. Tang Bao stood in the corridor of the hospital with the phone in her hand and did not return to the ward for a long time. Of course, she did not believe Lan Wanru's words. Lan Wanru's body was not even half as good as hers. If she had really had sex with Di Hao Ian, how could she be awake while Di Hao Ian was sleeping? Moreover, Di Hao Ian had promised her that as long as he did not recover his memory, he would not allow himself to have intimate contact with Lan Wanru. Since he had promised her, he would definitely do it, because he was Di Hao Ian, not just anyone else. Even if he had lost his memory, he was still Di Hao Ian. However, didn't Di Hao Ian go to tea? Why was he with Lan Wanru? He left the castle so early. Could it be that he was always looking for Lan Wanru? In other words, even if she chased Lan Wanru to the ends of the earth, it would be useless. Di Hao Ian would still look for him. Tang Bao's heart was dispirited and pained. She also felt a little ridiculous. It was as if even if she had Di Hao Ian's body, she would not be able to get his heart. Chapter 510. However, just as his finger was about to touch the screen, a text message popped up. He opened the text message. It was a photo taken. Di Hao Ian's gaze fell on it, and it became unstoppable. In the photo, Tang Bao and He Ju were facing each other and talking happily. When the two of them looked at each other, it was as if they were conveying some kind of emotion. Di Hao Ian's face was cold, and his dark eyes were filled with hostility. The hand holding the phone was so tight that the veins on the back of the hand twisted horribly. The strong hostility seemed to be about to blow up the car. These photos were secretly taken from outside He Ju's ward at the beginning, and they were sent to Di Hao Ian as a black card. If they investigated from this angle, it would definitely be difficult to find out. Moreover, Di Hao Ian was not in the mood to investigate now. His heart was full of jealousy now. He did not know why he was so jealous. It was as if as long as Tang Bao was close to other men, he would be like this, even uncontrollably irritable. Or could it be that Tang Bao was the kind of woman who liked to seduce men? Di Hao Ian thought of Tang Bao's passion and openness in bed. Di Hao Ian's face darkened even more. Tang Bao had no idea that she was in trouble. She returned to the castle from the company. She found that Di Hao Ian was already back. Running into the hall, she saw Di Hao Ian staring at the TV. What kind of nonsense was the news on the TV? Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Ian, exuding a cold and unfriendly aura. Was he really watching the news? Why did she feel that something was wrong? Di Hao Ian, where did you go today? Thinking of today's events, Tang Bao could not help but ask. She was depressed for the whole day. Did you go to Lan Wanru? Why did you go to her? Di Hao Ian looked at her coldly. His thin lips were pursed, and there was a sharp feeling in them. Tang Bao thought to herself, why is he looking at me? She wasn't too late, was she? I haven't had dinner yet. It shouldn't be because of this, right? If that was the case, she wouldn't be able to enter the castle. Besides, it was clearly Di Hao Ian's fault, wasn't it? Why was he looking at her like that? Why aren't you saying anything? Why are you staring at me? Shouldn't I ask? Tang Bao suppressed the bitterness in his heart and asked. I shouldn't have asked. Tang Bao bit her lip and looked at him with grievance and anger. I'm your wife. Why shouldn't I ask? Also, why do you want her to answer your phone? Have you forgotten what you promised me? Then what did you promise me? Di Hao Ian asked with a dark look in his eyes. Tang Bao thought for a moment and said, I remember what I promised you. You remember what? Di Hao Ian interrupted her coldly. You can't even fulfill your duty as a wife, and you dare to question me? Tang Bao looked at him gloomily. Was Di Hao Ian unsatisfied? She only knew sadness, reluctance, heartache. All the emotions of liking someone gathered in her heart, spiraled, and released. She said it now only to awaken Di Hao Ian's past memories. Even if he couldn't wake up, he shouldn't look at her with such hostility. Tang Bao was also afraid. If Di Hao Ian didn't have any feelings for her in the past, what else could she awaken? So, after she finished speaking, she turned around and ran upstairs. Di Hao Ian only felt as if his heart was being twisted and turned over by something. The pain was mixed with a sense of disorientation. It made him fall onto the sofa and sit down. Even his forehead was covered in cold sweat. "Young Master D, what's wrong?" Lian hurried over and asked. "I'll call the doctor over." "No need." Di Hao Ian's dark eyes were tightly shut as he endured the pain. This feeling came again. He even felt an inexplicable joy in the midst of the pain. It was crashing and pulling. Tang Bao said that she liked him. Only him? Had he ever heard of this before? Di Hao Ian felt that this was the first time he had heard of it. Was it because he lost his memory, or had he never heard of it before? Chapter 511. Is this okay? Di Hao Ian was at a loss. At this moment, the servant outside the door came in. She glanced at Di Hao Ian and said to Lian, "Supervisor, Madame Gu is here." Yu Songhuan walked in and saw Di Hao Ian in the living room with an abnormal expression on his face and Lian standing next to him. He felt a little strange, but then he didn't find it strange. It must be because of the photos of Tang Bao and He Ju. Because the photos were done by Yu Songhuan. Lian nodded to Yu Songhuan and went downstairs. Yu Songhuan sat down on the sofa and asked, "What's the matter? Don't tell me you quarreled with Tang Bao again. I told you that you and Tang Bao don't suit each other, but you didn't listen to me. Why are you here?" Di Hao Ian asked expressionlessly as he sat on the sofa and regained his composure. "I'm here to have dinner with you." "I haven't eaten with you in a long time," Yu Songhuan said. When she thought about how her son wasn't by her side, even during the New Year, she couldn't untie the knot in her heart about Tang Bao. Di Hao Ian nodded and didn't say anything. "Where's Tang Bao? Why don't I see her?" Yu Songhuan looked away. "Upstairs," Di Hao Ian said as he narrowed his eyes. Yu Songhuan tried to figure out Di Hao Ian's expression and said, "Do you still want to continue arguing with Tang Bao? Let me tell you first, Tang Bao is very indecent in some ways. You've suffered a lot in the past. Do you want to get hurt again after losing your memory?" Di Hao Ian didn't say anything. His expression was cold. "Hao Ian, you're my son. Why would I lie to you? I'm doing this for your own good." The expression on Di Hao Ian's face was unreadable. His black eyes were deep. Yu Songhuan still wanted to say something, but Li In walked over. "Young master, old madam, it's time for dinner." Di Hao Ian stood up, and Yu Songhuan followed him to the dining room. On the other side, Zhang Li went to call Tang Bao. Not long after Di Hao Ian and Yu Songhuan entered the restaurant, Tang Bao entered as well. He saw Yu Songhuan inside. When Zhang Li called her, he had already told her that Yu Songhuan was here. Therefore, it was not surprising. It was just that the atmosphere wasn't very comfortable. Tang Bao sat down at the dining table and called out to Yu Songhuan, "Mom." Whether or not Yu Songhuan paid attention to her was her own business. She was a junior, and greeting him was the most basic form of courtesy. If she didn't greet him, she would be insensible. Yu Songhuan suddenly felt that his appetite wasn't that good. Although she knew that coming here to eat would make her uncomfortable, she had to come. She wanted to see what would happen between Di Hao Ian and Tang Bao. However, when Tang Bao came down to eat, Di Hao Ian didn't say anything and focused on eating. When she first arrived, Di Hao Ian's expression was clearly very bad, as if he had been provoked. Was he fine now? One should not speak while eating. The meal was eaten very quietly. After eating and walking out of the restaurant, Yu Songhuan looked at Di Hao Ian and then looked at Tang Bao, who was silent not far behind him. He said, "A good marriage is not blindly tolerant, because there are always very few sensible people in this world. I'm leaving. You don't have to send me off." After saying that, he glanced coldly at Tang Bao and turned to leave. Tang Bao knew very well that the insensible person Yu Songhuan was referring to was her. After knowing that Lan Wanru wasn't here, Yu Songhuan probably disliked her even more. Didn't he say those words because he couldn't wait for Di Hao Ian to divorce her? Now, he actually said it in front of Di Hao Ian and her. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Ian's expression. Would he listen to Yu Songhuan and divorce her? Tang Bao was very nervous. Even if she had been hurt by Di Hao Ian, who had lost his memory, she knew in her heart that this wasn't Di Hao Ian's true feelings. He just couldn't help it. When one was sick, they couldn't help it. Di Hao Ian cared about her. When the car fell off the cliff, Di Hao Ian pushed her out of the car and shocked her. She would never forget it. Even if Di Hao Ian wanted to divorce her, it should be after he regained his memory. But not now. After seeing Di Hao Ian glance at her indifferently and go back upstairs, Tang Bao heaved a sigh of relief. Did this mean that Di Hao Ian wouldn't listen to Yu Songhuan and divorce her? With this thought in mind, Tang Bao returned to her room. Di Hao Ian stood there unbuttoning his clothes. It's best to keep a distance from the opposite sex. Otherwise, you should have understood what I said just now, Di Hao Ian said with his back facing her. She couldn't see the expression on Di Hao Ian's face. Even if she couldn't see it, Tang Bao could imagine how cold and inviolable it was. The so-called words just now what Yu Songhuan said. Tang Bao already understood. I've already explained to you that I'm already married. Why would I have anything to do with others? Tang Bao explained dejectedly. Di Hao Ian went into the bathroom without saying a word. Tang Bao was depressed. Di Hao Ian was obviously not listening to her explanation. He was unreasonably domineering. The next day, Di Hao Ian left the castle after breakfast. Tang Bao looked at the person who left and pursed her lips. He was really cold. He didn't say anything unnecessary to her. The black car stopped at the entrance of the hospital. Di Hao Ian walked out of the car with a strong aura. In the ward, Hiju was standing there talking to the doctor. When the door of the ward was pushed open, he was stunned. Young master. Hiju's expression was solemn. The doctor bowed to Di Hao Ian and turned to leave. Hiju in front of Di Hao Ian's dark eyes were extremely cold and oppressive. Yesterday, he had just received a photo of him and Tang Bao. Hiju was being stared at with such a cold and stern gaze. In the past, he would only receive such an oppressive gaze when he didn't fulfill the young master's request. However, he had just woken up. Hiju lowered his gaze slightly in a submissive posture. After looking at Hiju for a moment, he turned his cold gaze to the window. According to the angle of the photo, it was taken here. What did the doctor say? Di Hao Ian asked. The doctor said tomorrow, but I think I could be discharged now, Hiju said. I'm not here to urge you to be discharged. Yes. Hiju looked at Di Hao Ian's back. Did he really lose his memory? If Tang Bao hadn't told him in advance, he wouldn't have been able to tell at all. His aura was still the young master from before. Don't you have anything to say to me? Di Hao Ian's every movement of turning around had an oppressive aura. It made people feel as if there was nowhere to hide. I didn't protect the young master well in GCUN town. I heard from Malay that the young master was seriously injured and lost his memory. It was my negligence, Hiju said. You were injured too. It's not considered negligence, Di Hao Ian said lightly. Then, his dark eyes looked sharply at Hiju, who was silent, and asked again, Is that all you want to say? Yes. Hiju was slightly stunned. Di Hao Ian's gaze was deep and sharp, as if he could see through people. Chapter 512. Then have a good rest. Di Hao Ian turned and left. Hiju secretly heaved a sigh of relief. But he was also puzzled. Before dinner last night, Tang Bao called him and asked him not to mention him. Why? Did she not want Di Hao Ian to believe her? When he first woke up, she was anxious to ask him for help. Now, she did not want him. Did something happen during this period? Tang Bao was at his desk looking at the documents that Yu Lianlian handed to him. The company's budget report. These were all for him to sign. Tang Bao also had to learn to calculate. Otherwise, who else could he rely on? Wang Malay came in from outside and looked at Tang Bao, who was working hard. She walked forward and asked, How's it going? After signing, I still have to show you Lianlian. Sigh. She's become the boss. Tang Bao shook his head and sighed. You're already at ease. You don't need her to look at it. Anyway, I've grasped the main point. Tang Bao said in realization. What? The less money you spend, the better. Wang Malay's eyes lit up. This is your strength. Tang Bao was speechless. Sigh, I think you're really talented. Juan Malay said with a serious face. Stingy? Tang Bao asked. Haha, that's not a bad thing. Think about it. All the bosses in the world are equally stingy. If you're stingy, it means you're a proper boss. Are you praising me? Tang Bao asked. Yes, I'm praising you. Thank you, Tang Bao said speechlessly. When was she stingy? She was very generous. Tang Bao thought of something and looked up at her. Why don't you go see He Ju? Juan Malay, who had the upper hand, was a little embarrassed. No, I'm busy. I'll give you half a day off. Go accompany him. I just praised you, and you're already like this. The boss was not only bad in terms of money, but also in terms of holidays. Making the employees work overtime endlessly is the way to go. Tang Bao thought for a moment and nodded. You're right. Juan Malay sighed in relief. But He Ju said that he wants to cherish you. I can't break you up, Tang Bao said in distress. Juan Malay looked at her in disbelief. Is this the reaction of being too happy? Tang Bao asked. Tang Bao, I told you, don't talk about this kind of thing. Juan Malay blushed. I'm telling the truth. If you don't believe me, you can ask He Ju. Juan Malay's face was burning. Why did he say that? What the hell? Was he crazy? You've been taking care of him. He's touched. I'm not as grateful as he is. Juan Malay was going crazy. Actually, that's what I think. Tang Bao began to speak in a serious manner. Juan Malay had a bad feeling. He Ju has liked you for a long time, but there hasn't been a good time. This time, he's unconscious, and you've been waiting for him. He doesn't want to lose this opportunity to confess. Juan Malay looked at Tang Bao seriously. You're not selling me out just to let He Ju help you tell the truth to young Master D, are you? Tang Bao's face became gloomy when he thought of this. It would be great if that was the case. What do you mean? I don't know what's going on. Yesterday, after I returned from the company, Di Hao Hian became strange. He said, what did he say? He thinks that He Ju and I have an ambiguous relationship. Tang Bao looked at Juan Malay helplessly. What? Juan Malay was stunned. So now, Di Hao Hian definitely won't believe He Ju. He thinks that He Ju has an unusual relationship with me and will only help me cover up the truth, Tang Bao said. So, no matter how He Ju tells you about your relationship with young Master D, he won't believe it? Tang Bao nodded. That's why I called He Ju last night and told him not to mention me if he sees Di Hao Hian. Doesn't that mean that your only hope is gone? Tang Bao placed his chin weakly on the document. Maybe there was never any hope. When I'm with Di Hao Hian, it's like relying on my feelings. If Di Hao Hian doesn't even have feelings, what else can I do? It's like a blind person walking, relying on touch. Juan Malay didn't know what to say. Why would Di Hao Hian suspect Tang Bao and He Ju? What the hell? It didn't match at all. She felt that Di Hao Hian was even more domineering after losing his memory. As long as the opposite sex was close to Tang Bao, he would be unhappy. I think young Master D is like this because he doesn't feel safe. Juan Malay expressed her opinion. What sense of safety? Amnesia. Of course he doesn't feel safe. You're his wife, so he doesn't know if you treat him sincerely. Then he will become sensitive and insecure. What do you think? Tang Bao hadn't thought about this problem. Was that why he was so uncertain and suspicious? He didn't let her return to the castle because she didn't go back for dinner, so he didn't feel safe? She mentioned He Ju to Di Hao Hian, so he was unhappy because he didn't feel safe? However, Di Hao Hian was also so domineering before he lost his memory. Even a male dog didn't let her get close to him. However, after Juan Malay said this, she felt that it made sense. It was normal for people to feel insecure after losing their memory. Therefore, Tang Bao got off work early and ran to Tea Group to look for Di Hao Hian. Since he didn't feel safe, then she wouldn't feel that way if she stuck to him, right? Di Hao Hian was staring at the computer in his office, working. Tang Bao gently pushed the door open and poked her little head in. When she saw Di Hao Hian, she immediately smiled and said, Di Hao Hian. Di Hao Hian looked at the person who walked inexpressionlessly. Don't you know how to knock before coming in? Tang Bao ignored Di Hao Hian's question, walked over, and leaned on the desk. She asked in a good mood, Di Hao Hian, are you about to get off work? No. Di Hao Hian looked away. What was she thinking in her head? Then how much longer do you need? Tang Bao asked. Very late. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Tian and said, Then I'll wait for you. After saying that, she watched from the side. She was still leaning on the desk closest to Di Hao Tian's office. She rested her chin on her two little hands and looked at Di Hao Tian. Di Hao Tian ignored her and looked at the work in his hands. Time passed little by little, and Tang Bao stayed by his side. She wondered if Di Hao Tian was doing it on purpose. Usually, he would have left tea by this time. It didn't matter. As long as she was with Di Hao Tian, it didn't matter where she was. Di Hao Tian, I've been working in the company today, Tang Bao said. Di Hao Tian didn't say anything. Di Hao Tian, it won't take long for me to learn how to manage a company. Di Hao Tian still didn't say anything. Di Hao Tian, tell me, why do I like to be with you so much? Di Hao Tian's dark eyes twitched. She didn't know whether it was his dark eyes or his heart that was beating. Chapter 513. It was as if he had been licked by a tongue. Every time Tang Bao said a word, her breath was as sweet as sugar. It lingered on the tip of his nose, tempting him. Di Hao Tian, why do you think? Tang Bao asked again. Di Hao Tian tried hard to suppress the restlessness in his heart. He looked up expressionlessly, and his dark eyes were cold. If you still want to stay here, shut up. Di Hao Tian, don't you want to be with me? Then I'll follow you from now on, okay? Tang Bao did not care about Di Hao Tian's tough and cold face. Her watery eyes were smiling as she asked. Di Hao Tian looked at her indifferently, stood up, and put on his coat. Di Hao Tian, are you going back to the castle? No. Then where are you going? Tang Bao asked in confusion. Dinner at second uncle's house. Dinner at second uncle's house? Although I don't like to go there. If you go, I'll go too. Let's go together, Tang Bao said. Di Hao Tian turned to look at her. Not us. It's me. What do you mean? Aren't you going to take me there? Tang Bao asked anxiously. Di Hao Tian did not say anything, which meant that he had made up his mind. Tang Bao ran over and stood in front of Di Hao Tian. Di Hao Tian was very tall, so she could only look up at him. Her small face became more anxious. Why do you want to go to second uncle's house for dinner alone? I'm your wife. Why can you take me there? You don't have to go. Is it not necessary? Or are you going there to see Lan Wanru? Tang Bao was suddenly angry and bitter. Why are you still asking when you know? Di Hao Tian looked down at her with his dark eyes. He had no intention of compromising. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Tian with anger, grievance, and questioning eyes. Her clear eyes made Di Hao Tian's dark eyes a little hard to resist. He couldn't help but turn around and face her sideways, no longer looking at her. Tang Bao knew very well that if it was really just a meal, it would not be a big deal to bring her along. And he had taken her there before. But now he wasn't. It was obvious that he was going to meet Lan Wanru, yet he still talked about having a meal. She had stayed here for so long that the sky was already dark. Only then did he tell her that he was going to Ling's Yu family for dinner. Since you've already made up your mind to eat at second uncle's house alone, why didn't you tell me? You even made me wait here for nothing, Tang Bao asked. You can leave now. Di Hao Tian walked out of the office with a cold face. Tang Bao's heart ached terribly. This feeling was just like how Di Hao Tian's heart was not with her, but she had to force it. She was embarrassed and embarrassed. No, she couldn't let Di Hao Tian go alone. Or else, he wouldn't go. Tang Bao chased after him. Di Hao Tian, I want to go. Anyway, second uncle doesn't only belong to you. I'm a member of the Di family now. I can go too. Di Hao Tian ignored her and entered the elevator. Tang Bao immediately followed. They reached the ground floor. A black car was parked outside T. The door opened and Di Hao Tian got into the car. When he got into the car, he instructed the bodyguard, don't let her get into the car. So, when Tang Bao wanted to follow him, the door was directly closed. It was pitch black in front of her. She couldn't see Di Hao Tian inside. Tang Bao couldn't get in either. There were bodyguards blocking her way. Di Hao Tian, why are you doing this to me? It's just a meal. Can't you tolerate me so much? Tang Bao asked, breaking down. through the black glass of the car window. Di Hao Ian's black eyes stared at Tang Bao's panicked and pitiful expression outside. His tough heart seemed to be softening. However, he forced himself to hold on. Why did Tang Bao want to go with her so much? Was it because she wanted to follow him? Or was it because of Di Junbai? He wouldn't let her go to Di Ling's family. Don't even think about it. Drive. Di Hao Ian's thin lips said mercilessly. The car slid away from Tang Bao. Tang Bao couldn't believe that Di Hao Ian really didn't let her get into the car and didn't let her go. Di Hao Ian. Tang Bao chased after him and slammed on the car window. Di Hao Ian, you bastard. Take me there. However, the car turned a corner and directly left T. Tang Bao chased after her to the gate. Di Hao Ian's car quickly drove into the traffic and disappeared without a trace. Tang Bao looked at him blankly and helplessly. Tears welled up in her clear eyes. Why did he do this? Why didn't he take her there? Did he dislike her so much? Did he not want her to interfere with his good deed? She was his husband. Thinking about how Di Hao Ian couldn't wait to see another woman, Tang Bao's heart was like broken glass, shattering into pieces. She was about to die in despair. Even if she believed that nothing would happen between Di Hao Ian and Lan Wanru, she followed him because she was worried about his safety. After all, Di Lingwei was the one who set him up in the dark. Di Hao Ian had lost his memory now, so he definitely wouldn't be on guard. How could she let him go alone? However, Tang Bao squatted on the ground dejectedly. Di Hao Ian didn't need her to worry about him, right? He had so many bodyguards under him, and he was so strong. Moreover, he was at Di Lingyue's house. Nothing should happen to him. However, her unnecessary worry would only make her heart feel worse. A foot wearing black leather shoes appeared in front of her. Di Hao Ian? Tang Bao looked up in shock, but when she saw who it was, she couldn't help but feel disappointed. Di Junbai acted as if he didn't see the disappointment in her eyes and said, "Why are you squatting here?" Tang Bao stood up. Of course, Di Junbai saw how wrong Tang Bao was, but he didn't say anything. "You haven't eaten, right? I just came back from outside." "Let's eat together," Di Junbai said. "No need. I'll go back to the castle to eat," Tang Bao said. "Are you rejecting me?" Chapter 514. Why did she suddenly say that she wanted to eat bland food? Tang Bao felt like he was starving if he didn't eat meat. Could it be that she did it for him? Could he think that way? They arrived at the high-end restaurant. The food on the menu was dazzling. However, Di Junbai noticed that Tang Bao only ordered vegetarian dishes. There was no meat at all. When a menu was put away, Di Junbai asked, "Are you sure you don't want to eat meat? It's rare for me to invite you. Don't regret it." "Brother Junbai, haven't you always eaten bland food? It's great that I don't have to crave you anymore," Tang Bao said nonchalantly. Di Junbai smiled gently and didn't say anything else. The phone on his body rang. Di Junbai took out his phone and answered, "I'm eating out. I'm not going back." Tang Bao's long eyelashes fluttered as he looked at Di Junbai. He felt a little nervous for no reason. "I'm eating with a friend." Tang Bao heaved a sigh of relief after hearing Di Junbai's reply. Although she and Di Junbai were innocent and had only interacted with each other as normal friends, wouldn't it be troublesome if Di Hao Ian found out? She regretted coming out to eat with Di Junbai. However, when she looked up and saw Di Junbai's gentle eyes, she felt that she couldn't refuse. After Di Junbai hung up the phone, he asked Tang Bao, "My brother seems to be eating in my house." "I know." Tang Bao's expression was a little forced so that he wouldn't look so strange. She didn't like to be pitted. "That's great. We'll eat here." Tang Bao thought that Di Junbai would continue to ask, but he didn't expect him to say that. Regardless of whether or not this coincidence was a result of God's will, or whether or not it was unreasonable, he felt that this was better than anything else. Di Lingwei returned to the dining table after the phone call. She said to Di Hao Ian, "Junbai didn't come back for dinner. He's having dinner with his friends. Let's eat." Di Hao Ian's black eyes were deep and unreadable. Didn't they say that Di Junbai would be back for dinner? And now he's not coming back? Lan Wanru was in a particularly good mood. As long as Di Hao Ian was by her side, she would be in a good mood. She gently said to Di Hao Ian, Brother Hao Yin, although you are still recovering, you can't eat too lightly. Tonight's dinner was prepared for you, so you must eat more. Okay, Di Hao Yin replied. Then he began to eat. Walking out of the restaurant, Di Junbai suddenly smiled. What's wrong? He asked, noticing Di Junbai's smile. I think I'm stuffed. Di Junbai rubbed his stomach. Why don't we move forward? Sure. Tang Bao nodded. The two of them walked along the sidewalk. Tang Bao looked elsewhere and thought that Di Hao Yin definitely didn't go back at this time. What was he doing? If he finished eating, what would he do and say to Lan Wanru? At this moment, were they together? Tang Bao was a little absent-minded. I know about my brother's memory loss. After a moment of silence, Di Junbai suddenly spoke. Yes, he lost his memory. He doesn't even remember me. Tang Bao smiled sadly. If Lan Wanru knew that Di Hao Yin lost his memory, then Dealing Yue's family must also know about it. Now, there was no one who didn't know. If this continues, do you think it's necessary to persist? Di Junbai was silent for a moment before saying. Tang Bao stopped and looked at him. Why is it not necessary? He only remembers Wanru and is so cold to you. I just feel that it's not worth it for you. Di Junbai said, although he's my biological brother, I can't bear to see you being tortured. Tang Bao's calm face cracked a little. She knew that Di Junbai definitely understood her. After all, they had known each other for so many years, even longer than she had known Di Hao Yin. He could see through her, even if she didn't say anything. It's not worth it. He just lost his memory and is sick. I can't give up on him just because he's sick, Tang Bao said. What if he can't recover his memory in the future? Di Junbai asked. He will recover. Tang Bao didn't want to hear such ifs. You have to plan for the worst. If you keep thinking about the good, you'll only make yourself more disappointed and sad in the end, Di Junbai said. No matter how deep the injury is, if you prevent it from hurting your vital parts in advance, you could be safe and sound. Tang Bao looked at the traffic in the distance. The night wind gently brushed the hair on her temples. It was cold and sad. Her vital parts? She had already stabbed them, right? How could she avoid it? She could only guard the vital parts that were stabbed and be careful to prevent more blood from flowing out and causing her to bleed to death. Don't ask me this question. I don't know. I really don't know, Tang Bao said blankly. I thought that you would be able to bring out the courage you had in the past, Di Junbai said. Tang Bao knew what Di Junbai meant by the courage she had in the past. He was referring to the time when she kept wanting to leave Di Hao Yin. However, she didn't expect Di Junbai to ask her to leave Di Hao Yin. If I leave him, it's my fault. Brother Junbai, you can see through me, but you don't understand how I feel. If I leave at this time, how is it different from abandoning him? If Di Hao Yin didn't lose his memory and treated me like this, I would have left long ago. But now it's different, Tang Bao said. So, you're going to continue to guard him? Wait for him to regain his memory, even if every day hurts? Di Junbai asked. I'll avoid hurting myself. Tang Bao looked at Di Junbai and smiled at him. I know you're worried about me, but this can't be helped. After all, I'm the one who caused all of this. If it wasn't for me, Di Hao Yin wouldn't have been attacked, he wouldn't have fallen off the cliff, and he wouldn't have lost his memory. Di Hao Yin isn't the only one responsible for this. I'm responsible for it too. It seems that I can't persuade you. But if you want to ask me for help, don't hesitate. Di Junbai looked at her gently and said, I will. Tang Bao nodded. She thought of something and asked, Brother Junbai, is your relationship with second uncle very good? It's all right. Why are you asking this? In your heart, what kind of person is second uncle? Tang Bao asked. Why are you suddenly asking this? I'm just curious. Di Junbai thought for a moment and said, When I was young, I remember my father as a strict person. You know, that's how all the children in rich families grow up. He would transfer his fatherly love to strict education. A strict person? Nothing else? That's about it. What's wrong? Di Junbai asked. I thought of what you said to me when we were in the orphanage. What did you say? Chapter 5:15. Di Junbai didn't expect her to be curious about this. He smiled and said, There's not much in common with the elders, so wouldn't it be better to talk to me? Tang Bao thought. So that's what he meant? She thought there was another meaning behind it. It was like a kind reminder. But now, what Di Junbai said was different from what she thought. Or was she thinking too much? Di Hao Yin walked out of Di Ling's house and asked the bodyguard before getting into the car, "Have you found it?" "Yes. It's already placed beside the young master's seat." Di Hao Yin got into the car. The car door closed. The car drove out of Di Ling's house. Beside the black seat were a few photos. They were taken from the hospital's surveillance camera. The man with a crew cut was standing at the window, holding a camera and taking photos inside. The second photo was of him fleeing in a hurry. The third photo was of Tang Bao walking out of the ward and chasing after the man who took the photo. The fourth photo was of Tang Bao returning to the ward. "Find this person," Di Hao Yin instructed. Yes, if he followed the black card directions to find the person who took the photo, he definitely wouldn't be able to find him. However, there were surveillance cameras in the hospital. It was easy to find him according to this. He wanted to know who took this photo. Di Hao Yin returned to the castle and walked into the hall. Just as he was about to go upstairs, he thought of something. His deep black eyes moved slightly as he asked Lian, "Did she have dinner at the castle?" "Yes," Lian said. Di Hao Yin didn't say anything and went upstairs. Tang Bao, who was in the room, had a meal outside and another meal when he came back. At this moment, she was so full that she was lying on the bed to dry her stomach to digest. If she didn't eat at the castle, Di Hao Yin would suspect, right? She didn't dare to provoke Di Hao Yin at all now. She didn't know when Di Hao Yin would come back. Would he not come back? Did he want to be with Lan Wanru so much that he forgot to go home? Tang Bao sighed in her heart. His expression was blank. As soon as Di Hao Yin entered the bedroom, he saw Tang Bao lying on the bed with his white belly exposed. His dark eyes were stunned. When Tang Bao saw that it was Di Hao Yin, he quickly pulled down his shirt. He sat up. "You're back." Di Hao Yin withdrew his gaze, took off his jacket, and threw it aside. "Get ready to take a shower." Tang Bao looked at his indifferent expression. Did meeting Lan Wanru not make him feel better? Or was this his attitude whenever he came back here and saw her? Di Hao Yin went into the bathroom. His mind was still thinking about Tang Bao's flat, snow-white belly when he entered the bedroom just now. He knew how smooth and tender her skin was. If he touched it, he would leave a red mark on it. It was as if it could not withstand even a little bit of abuse. Di Hao Yin felt his body begin to heat up. He turned on a shower and let the water pour down. Her wet black hair snaked down the sexy muscles of her body. She was perfect and full of wildness. When Di Hao Yin came out, Tang Bao was lying under the quilt, holding her phone in her hand. He did not know what she was playing. Di Hao Yin walked over and saw the game on the screen. She was in the mood to play games. Di Hao Yin's face darkened. He went straight to bed. Then he turned off the lights. "Di Hao Yin, wait a little longer. I'll be done soon," Tang Bao said anxiously as she played the game. Di Hao Yin did not say anything. He closed his eyes and went to sleep. If the bedroom was dark, the phone screen would be especially bright, and he would not be able to feel it. So he lost after a while. Tang Bao put the phone on the bedside table. There was no light in the bedroom at all. After a while, she could see the outline of Di Hao Yin's figure next to her. Tang Bao was not sleepy. He did not know why Di Hao Yin went to bed so early. "Di Hao Yin, why did you stay at second uncle's place for so long? What else did you do besides eat?" Tang Bao asked. Di Hao Yin did not say anything. "Di Hao Yin, why are you ignoring me? Don't think that I don't know that you're pretending to be asleep. Can I ask you when you're back so late?" Tang Bao gritted her teeth in anger. Then she turned around angrily with her back facing him. "Fine, I won't ask. What's the big deal?" After that, she closed her eyes angrily and began to feel sleepy. Di Hao Yin's dark eyes opened in the darkness. He did not feel sleepy at all. He turned his face and looked at the back of Tang Bao's head. Even in the darkness, he could still see the fair neck. Di Hao Yin thought of the passion in the tent on the mountaintop, and the pleasure. In the darkness, his breathing began to become heavy. Then, he moved closer to Tang Bao's back like a demon. His thin lips were right next to her fair neck. Do you want to know? Tang Bao's neck could not help but shrink when she felt his hot breath. Her small face was stunned in the darkness. She had already given up. Why did Di Hao Yin take the initiative to ask her if she wanted to know? Are you willing to tell me? Tang Bao, who did not know what Di Hao Yin was thinking, asked innocently. Satisfy me and I'll tell you. Di Hao Yin's breathing was heavy and his voice was hoarse. Tang Bao could already feel how hot Di Hao Yin's body was as he moved closer to her. It was filled with endless danger. No, your body can't keep doing this kind of thing. You need to rest for 2 days. Tang Bao's body shrank back. My body won't have any problems, even if I do it from morning to night. I'm full of energy now. Di Hao Yin held her and did not let her out of his control. Tang Bao's slender body was pulled over by Di Hao Yin's arm. She directly bumped into Di Hao Yin's chest. She felt that every muscle on Di Hao Yin's body was tense. Di Hao Yin, I said no. Tang Bao struggled. But it was futile. I have the final say. Di Hao Yin reached out and clasped Tang Bao's moving jaw. His thin lips could not wait to press down on her. Tang Bao's body and mind trembled. She thought that Di Hao Yin would give up if she rejected him like last time in the study. She did not expect him to use force. Why was he not angry because of her rejection? It was completely out of Tang Bao's expectations. But it was so familiar, because in the past, Di Hao Yin was a devil and shameless. He did not care whether you wanted it or not. What he wanted was right. Then, he would make you want it too. It was a kind of domineering that would not stop until he achieved his goal. Di Hao Yin, D. Tang Bao's little mouth could not even say the most basic words. At this moment, Di Hao Yin was like a ferocious beast. She could not withstand it. She did not have the strength to resist. She could only bear it. Di Hao Yin panted heavily. His whole body was greedy and excited. Show your enthusiasm well. This is your only good point. Di Hao Yin's voice was hoarse. Tang Bao struggled to digest Di Hao Yin's words. Was she supposed to be happy after being praised like this? Tang Bao was so angry that she opened her mouth and bit. Chapter 516. Ouch. That was a sharp pain. Bastard. Was he going to eat her up? Di Hao Yin must be taking revenge on her for biting him just now. With a click, the lamp on the bedside table lit up. Tang Bao instinctively closed her eyes and hugged herself. Her face was flushed. It was as if the light and darkness were not enough to affect Di Hao Yin. She crouched and looked down at her like a wild beast that had captured a delicious meal. I didn't see clearly last time. Let me see what you look like now. Tang Bao, who had adapted to the light, slowly opened her eyes and met Di Hao Yin's deep and dark eyes. Even if I don't want to, you still want to continue? This is your duty as a wife. Do you want me to respond to you like last time? Tang Bao asked suddenly. Di Hao Yin's dark eyes moved. What request? Tang Bao was dumbfounded. How could he guess that? Treat me better in the future. Don't be so cold to me. If you go to eat somewhere, you have to bring me along. What happened today can't happen again. You're asking for too much. Di Hao Yin looked at her coldly. How is it too much? Isn't it just asking you to treat me better? What kind of request is it to treat my wife well? Tang Bao said unhappily. Di Hao Yin hooked Tang Bao's tender chin with his long and rough fingers. His voice was as hoarse as a magnet. Even if you don't agree to this request, I can still make you passionate. What? Tang Bao's tone changed. In the end, Tang Bao still lost to Di Hao Yin's tricks. The light shone on her, and she had nowhere to hide. When Di Hao Yin flipped Tang Bao over, he suddenly paused. His black eyes narrowed and locked onto the black words on Tang Bao's waist. Why was it a word in his name? Last time, when Tang Bao was taking a shower, he did not notice it. He only noticed the lines of Tang Bao's back. It was impossible for Tang Bao to engrave his name on this spot. Furthermore, this handwriting was clearly his. There was a sudden pause. She thought it was finally over. Her life was about to be over. But when his mind cleared up a little, he realized that it wasn't over yet. Di Hao Yin, Tang Bao's voice was already hoarse as he called out Di Haoyin's name. Di Haoyin's black eyes turned slightly as he looked at Tang Bao, who was trying his best to turn his head to look behind him. Did he really care about her? Was that why his heart ached for her? Was that why he couldn't control his temper when she approached the opposite sex? So, what Tang Bao said to him was true. Di Haoyin, what happened to you? Tang Bao turned his head with difficulty and saw Di Haoyin's tense expression. Even the look in his eyes was difficult to decipher. What happened to him? Why didn't he say anything? Looking at Di Haoyin's expression, Tang Bao was so slow that he thought of the words engraved on his waist. What was he thinking? Because Di Haoyin didn't believe her in the past, Tang Bao felt that Di Haoyin must think that the words on his waist were engraved by her. If that was the case, wouldn't it spoil Di Haoyin's mood? Tang Bao came back to his senses and wanted to crawl forward, but the connection between him and Di Haoyin was broken. However, as soon as he moved, he was pulled back by Di Haoyin's hand. You still have the strength to run? No, Di Haoyin. Before Tang Bao could finish his words, Di Haoyin forcefully pressed him down. When Tang Bao woke up, it was almost late in the morning. Di Haoyin was no longer in the room. He must have gone to tea. Tang Bao dragged his body, which was about to fall apart, down from the bed slowly. Every time he moved, he felt like he was about to die. He walked into the bathroom and stood in front of the mirror. He pulled open the collar of his pajamas slightly. There were red and purple marks, which showed what happened last night. Tang Bao thought of something. He lifted his pajamas and turned around to face the mirror. Then he saw the clear mark. It was left by Di Haoyin. Based on Di Haoyin's reaction last night, she thought that Di Haoyin didn't see it, or that the mark was gone. The mark was still there, but she couldn't figure out Di Haoyin's reaction. Didn't he find it strange? Why was there such a possessive word on her waist? If he thought that it was Tang Bao's scheme, why wasn't he angry? Tang Bao couldn't understand. Tang Bao finished washing up and dragged his weak body downstairs. When he entered the hall, he was stunned when he saw the person standing there. She walked over. Iju, have you been discharged? Yes, young madam. The doctor said that you could be discharged. Didn't you just wake up? Tang Bao asked. No matter what, work is not as important as your health. Don't you need to rest more? I don't think Di Haoyin will mind for a few days. Thank you for your concern, young madam. The doctor said that I could be discharged. Tang Bao thought of something and asked, Then, is Di Haoyin here? I'm here. Di Haoyin's deep voice sounded with an intimidating aura. Tang Bao was stunned. He turned around and saw Di Haoyin walking into the hall with cold black eyes. You still don't want me to be here. Di Haoyin's face was unusually cold. Tang Bao didn't know why he said this and said, I thought you went to tea. Di Haoyin's sharp gaze fell on Iju. You don't have to come if you haven't rested well. Iju nodded and said respectfully, Young master, I'm fine now. The doctor also said that I can be discharged. Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyin and asked, Di Haoyin, have you had breakfast? Do you want to eat together? Di Haoyin glanced at her coldly. Is it time to have breakfast now? Oh, then let's have lunch. No. Tang Bao saw that Di Haoyin was about to leave and asked, Are you going to tea now? Do you want to have lunch before you leave? Di Haoyin stopped in his tracks, and his stalwart figure paused in place. Then he turned around and looked at Tang Bao, his dark eyes unfathomable. Tang Bao's clear eyes were filled with anticipation. Then Di Haoyin turned around and walked towards the dining hall. Tang Bao couldn't believe his eyes. Did Di Haoyin listen to her? Did he agree to her request? This was the first time Di Haoyin had ever done this since he lost his memory. Although Tang Bao was puzzled, he was very happy and followed him happily. During the meal, Tang Bao glanced at Di Haoyin from time to time, who was focused on eating. She kept feeling that something was wrong, but she also felt cautious, afraid that the piece in front of her would disappear just like that. She didn't dare to say a word, until Di Haoyin finished lunch with her and left the castle. Iju also left. Chapter 517. Only then did she feel that her waist really couldn't stand for long. She actually wanted to ask Di Hao Ian to take her to the company in his car. However, Di Hao Ian rarely showed kindness, so she didn't dare to ask. Tang Bao didn't want to go to the company either. She just wanted to lie in a comfortable bed for a day to recover. However, when she thought of Di Hao Ian transferring Zhou Jisen away, she felt very uneasy. She felt that she still couldn't let her guard down. She had to learn how to manage and develop the company well. Who knew what would happen in the future? Tang Bao went upstairs, took her bag, and was about to leave the castle. "Young madam, are you going out? Aren't you going to rest at home?" Zhongli asked. "I'm going to the company." Zhongli looked at Tang Bao's hand on her waist and said implicitly, "It's okay if you don't go for a day. Have a good rest. Your health is important." Tang Bao noticed Zhang Li's gaze and immediately blushed. She said, "No need." After saying that, she slipped away. She almost sprained her waist when she ran. She was seen through, right? How embarrassing. After Tang Bao returned to the company, she worked seriously. She still worked with a weak body. She was a little touched by herself. She had never been so diligent before. In the past, she didn't want to work in the office even when she was as healthy as a cow. Now, she had to work hard even though she was physically weak. Tang Bao could see the admiration in Wan Malay's eyes. At night, she slept. Tang Bao went to bed early. Di Hao Ian came out of the study and went back to his room. He also took a shower and went to bed. However, Di Hao Ian began to be restless. Tang Bao grabbed Di Hao Ian's hand and asked in horror, "What are you doing? What do you think?" I don't know. I don't want to know because it's too scary. I'll let you know." Di Hao Ian's black eyes flickered. "Di Hao Ian, you can't do this. Didn't you just do it yesterday?" Tang Bao wanted to cry, but had no tears. How could Di Hao Ian, who had lost his memory, still be like this? That's right. His body was still Di Hao Ian's body, so his needs are naturally the same. "Do you want to reject me?" Di Hao Ian lifted her chin with a strong aura. Tang Bao nodded seriously. Then, Di Hao Ian lifted Tang Bao's chin toward the top of the bed with cold, dark eyes. He looked at the piece of paper and asked in a low and dangerous voice, "What does this agreement say?" Tang Bao looked at the agreement on the wall in astonishment, then looked at Di Hao Ian. It wasn't just about the 2 days of rest per week in the agreement. Also, Di Hao Ian actually believed what was written on it. Di Hao Ian must have seen this agreement a long time ago, but he still didn't believe in Tang Bao. In other words, even the 3 obediences and 4 virtues in the agreement were doubtful. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so distrustful of her that he didn't even believe in her punctuation. But now, he wanted her to see the agreement? Did this mean that Di Hao Ian believed that this agreement was between them? Di Hao Ian, who don't you think this agreement is fake? Or did I coax you into it? Tang Bao asked with mixed feelings. She was also a little uneasy. She was afraid that Di Hao Ian would start to deny her judgment again. Is it fake? Di Hao Ian asked back. Tang Bao shook her head. You forced me to write it. Then don't reject it. Di Hao Ian's thin lips pressed down on her. Tang Bao's heart and soul swayed. What did Di Hao Ian mean? Did he believe that this agreement was real? Could it be that he wanted to eat her and said that on purpose? But Tang Bao felt that it didn't seem like it. Why did Di Hao Ian choose to believe her? These 2 days were a little strange. Or was it that he was in a good mood because she satisfied him? Di Hao Ian, be gentle. Tang Bao was in so much pain that her whole body was stiff. Did I make you distracted? I was just thinking about some things. If you wanted to concentrate, you can say it. Why do you have to be so rough? Tang Bao asked pitifully. I like to use practical actions. I don't like to be caught off guard. You're scaring me to death. The next day, a man with a crew cut came out of the company. As soon as he walked on the road, he was stopped by someone. What are you doing? The man with the crew cut asked warily. As soon as he finished asking, he was lifted and thrown to the side of the road. The man with the crew cut staggered and knelt on the ground. He found himself kneeling in front of the back seat of a black military luxury car. He looked up and saw a noble and inviolable man sitting behind the car. His black eyes were deep and sinister. Young master, it seems that you know who I am. Di Hao Ian flicked the cigarette ash in his hand. Then do you know why I'm looking for you? No, I don't know. The man with the crew cut shook his head. Di Hao Ian's black eyes were sharp. Hiju lifted his foot and stepped directly on the back of the man with the crew cut. The man fell down immediately. Another bodyguard put the man's head under the wheel. The car started and the wheels rolled backward, first toward the little finger. Huh? The man with the crew cut screamed miserably. His face was pale, and he was in so much pain that sweat flowed down his head. How many fingers are broken? Di Hao Ian asked lightly. Hiju said, 2, 8 more. That meant that they could continue to crush him. The man with the crew cut was still in severe pain and shuddered at Hiju's words. I'll talk. The man with the crew cut had never encountered such a cruel thing. Only now did he understand how terrifying the legendary king of the city of D was. If he didn't talk, he would lose his life. Di Hao Ian looked at him fiercely with his black eyes. It's young master's mother who asked me to do this. She asked me to take a picture of young madam and your bodyguard being intimate and then send it to you. That's all. The man with the crew cut was still bleeding from his mouth. It was because it was too painful and he had bitten his own mouth. Hiju was stunned. He seemed to understand why this man was caught. That day in the ward, he was talking to Tang Bao, and there was a figure outside the window. In other words, Tang Bao suddenly asked him not to mention anything about her to young master, not even her name. Di Hao Ian's cold gaze looked at Hiju, who was slightly stunned, and then fell on the man with the crew cut. That faint but intimidating gaze made the man with the crew cut tremble in fear. Then other than taking pictures, what else did you see and hear? Di Hao Ian asked. Chapter 518. The man with the crew cut stuttered in pain. Di Hao Ian's black eyes were filled with terrifying anger. In other words, such a photo was taken to mislead him. The other woman must be Tang Bao's friend. When Tang Bao explained to him before, Hiju liked one Malay. So, after he lost his memory, he was schemed against by his mother. Di Hao Ian took a deep breath and leaned his body lazily against the back of the seat. Hiju had always been good at reading people's expressions. He gave the driver a look. The driver reversed the car, and all 5 fingers of the man with the crew cut were crushed. The man with the crew cut rolled on the ground in pain. There was no mercy on Di Hao Ian's face at all. Hiju went forward and closed the car door. He returned to the front passenger seat. The car drove away. Di Hao Ian, who was sitting in the back, looked at Hiju in the front. He was suitable to be his personal bodyguard. With a slight change in his eyes, he could tell what he wanted to do. Before Hiju came, he needed to verbally order the bodyguards to understand. But now, there was no need at all. Young master, do you want to go to old madam's place? Yes. Yu Song-Huan was about to take an afternoon nap. There was the sound of a car engine coming in outside. Aunt Wang looked outside and said to Yu Song-Huan, Old madam, it's young master. The young master is here. Yu Song-Huan immediately smiled. Then I won't sleep. After Di Hao Ian walked in, Yu Song-Huan smiled and asked, Why are you suddenly here? Have you eaten? Yes. Aunt Wang, go and pour some tea. Yu Song-Huan ordered. No need. Di Hao Ian walked to the sofa and sat down. Aunt Wang froze there and didn't move. Yu Song-Huan didn't say anything else. He saw that Di Hao Ian's expression was a little strange, and his aura was a little strange. He sat down and asked, Did something happen? Did you ask someone to take the photos? Di Hao Ian looked at Yu Song-Huan indifferently. Yu Song-Huan felt a little guilty, but still pretended not to understand. What photos are you talking about? I did forget a lot of things due to amnesia, but as my mother, isn't it inappropriate for you to tamper with my blank memories? Di Hao Ian looked at Yu Song-Huan without blinking. Isn't it too serious to talk about tampering? I'm just trying to show you the truth, Yu Song-Huan argued. The fact that Tang Bao cheated? Yes, she cheated, and the person she cheated on was your brother, Di Junbai. Di Hao Ian's black pupils constricted, and he shot a sharp and dangerous look at Yu Song-Huan. Yes, everyone knows. If you doubt me, you can ask someone else, or even every servant in your castle. Yu Song-hwan said righteously. I don't know what Tang Bao did to make you believe her, but she had sex with Di Junbai a few months after marrying you. Although she was drugged and had no choice, even if she was drugged, she still had to stay true to herself. After all, she was married to you, and Di Junbai was a member of the Di family. Even if he died, he couldn't do that. As for the photos taken in the hospital, I'm just reminding you not to trust your wife too much. She's not as simple as you think. She's more scheming than anyone else. Di Haoyan's mind was still thinking about what Yu Songhwan said about the Tang Bao and Di Junbai. His voice was extremely hoarse. I don't believe it. Don't believe what? Don't believe the Tang Bao and Di Junbai? You might be suspicious of anything I say, but you can ask someone else. No matter how scheming I am, I can't scheme against the people in your castle. Then why didn't you say it in the beginning? Di Haoyan's face was tense, and endless anger was hovering in his chest. Because I don't want you to be hurt again. Haoyan, you already suffered once before you lost your memory. Now that you've lost your memory, do you want me to make you suffer again? If you didn't question me today, I wouldn't have told you at all. I even told Wanru not to tell anyone. I don't understand why you're so obsessed with the Tang Bao. Yu Songhwan asked, puzzled. Di Haoyan didn't say a word. He suddenly stood up and walked out with a cold face. His breathing was heavy, and his expression was terrifying. Ju, who was standing outside, could naturally hear what was said inside. When he heard Yu Songhwan's words, he immediately felt that something was wrong. Di Haoyan got into the car, and the whole car was filled with ice. On the way, Di Haoyan said in a low and cold voice, "Did you hear that just now?" Ju didn't have the same name, but he knew who he was asking. It was him. I heard it. Do you have anything to say? Di Haoyan asked. You'd better tell me the truth. Otherwise, if I find out, you should know the consequences. You're my bodyguard, so your punishment will be heavier. At this moment, Di Haoyan couldn't be touched at all. Otherwise, he would fall into eternal damnation. Young Master, at that time, young Madam and Malay went to Yu Lianlian's party. Yu Lianlian originally wanted to drug Zhou Jisen and make Zhou Jisen remarry her. However, due to a freak combination of factors, the drug drink was drunk by young Madam. Coincidentally, when the villa was bombed and collapsed that day, Di Junbai was also there. She saved young Madam and hid in the villa's private vault together to avoid being buried alive. At that time, we were looking for young Madam. During that time, the drug took effect, and Di Junbai gave her the antidote. Di Haoyan continued for him. Ju didn't say anything. He didn't forget the scene of the private vault being open that day. But young Master, you and young Madam have already buried the hatchet. Buried the hatchet? Do you think a man can tolerate that? Di Haoyan's face was dark. But young Master doesn't care. He has always been very good to young Madam. Ju said. In other words, I care about her so much that even if she did something wrong to me, I would still accept it? Di Haoyan sneered terrifyingly. Ju didn't say anything for a moment. What he said was true. Di Haoyan really didn't seem to care at all. Let me tell you, even if I treated her well in the past, I wouldn't be so indifferent to this extent. Di Haoyan felt that he couldn't suppress his anger even though he had lost his memory. It was impossible for him to be indifferent before he lost his memory. Ju's relationship with Wan Malay and Wan Malay's friendship with Tang Bao completely proved that Ju wasn't lying. In other words, what Yu Songhwan said was true. The relationship between Tang Bao and Di Junbai was really unclear. And that photo on the internet. Every time he was in bed, he wanted Tang Bao's body so much. His restless blood was screaming nonstop, as if Tang Bao was lying beside him just for him. Chapter 519. How could he, Di Haoyan, be willing to accept such a dirty woman? Di Haoyan entered tea with endless cold air. Ju called Wan Malay in private. Wan Malay was pouring coffee for Tang Bao in the pantry. Tang Bao, who never drank coffee, suddenly said that she wanted to drink coffee to refresh herself. It was really hard for her to do a job she didn't like. Didn't she need to refresh herself? Otherwise, she would fall asleep. However, at this moment, her phone rang. She took it out and saw an unfamiliar number. Who was it? Hello? Who is this? Wamale picked up and asked. It's me. Wamale was stunned for a moment. Then her eyes widened. Hee-Ju, how do you know my phone number? When you weren't paying attention in the hospital, I used your phone to call my number, Hee-Ju said. Wamale almost choked on her old breath. Wasn't he saying it too naturally? Was he here to show off? Do you think it's good for you to be like this? You took my phone and didn't even... Before Wamale could finish her sentence, Hee-Ju interrupted her mercilessly. Let me ask you something. What is it? Wamale's inquiry was perfectly diverted. How much do you know about the relationship between young Madam and D. Junbai? What relationship? Wamale was confused. At the villa party, Hee-Ju reminded her. Oh, you're talking about that? That's all I know. Didn't Tang Bao and young Emperor have a Cold War for a while? It was fine after that. Is there any other inside story? What inside story? Why were they fine? Hee-Ju asked in detail. It must be because young Emperor doesn't care anymore. Wamale said, because Tang Bao didn't say anything else to her. She only knew that Tang Bao was very sad and painful at that time. In the end, young Master D let bygones be bygones, and she was quite touched. It was not easy for such a strong man to overcome the knot in his heart for the sake of the Tang Bao. Hee-Ju thought that if Wamale didn't have any inside information, then there was none. After all, Wamale and Tang Bao were close, and they could talk about anything. It's not convenient for me to call the Tang Bao. Tell her that the young master knows about her relationship with D. Junbai. Wamale immediately understood Hee-Ju's words and felt the severity of the situation. Are you serious? Again? It's worse than before. How did young Emperor know? The young master's mother told me. Wamale hung up the phone angrily. What an old witch. She just couldn't bear to see her son and daughter-in-law happy. You won't stop until you break them up, right? Wamale did not even have time to bring the coffee and rush to the office. Tang Bao was leaning over the desk and looking at the computer seriously as he worked. He looked at Wamale, who came in, and asked, Where's my coffee? I have something to tell you. You have to be mentally prepared. Wamale walked in and stared at Tang Bao as she said, Something bad? Tang Bao asked. Wamale nodded. Tang Bao couldn't help but become serious. What? The young Master D knows about your one-night stand with D. Junbai, Wamale said. Looking at Tang Bao's stunned expression, she said, I know that the young Master D didn't care about it in the past, but now that he has lost his memory, it's equivalent to telling him about your relationship with D. Junbai again. You must want to know how the young Master D found out. It was that old witch who told him. Old witch. Tang Bao's mind couldn't quite wrap around it. The young Master D's mother, which is your mother-in-law. Tang Bao's expression darkened, and his heart sank as well. I'm not surprised that she would say it at all. I just forgot that this matter would be brought up by her again. Then what should we do now? Wamale was anxious for her. Before he lost his memory, the young Master D cared more about Tang Bao than anything else. But after he lost his memory, the young Master D was different. That would be very scary. Tang Bao slowly looked at Wamale and said, There's something I haven't told you. What is it? Actually, there's nothing between D. Junbai and me. That time, I was drugged in the villa and locked up with D. Junbai. Everyone thought that something happened between D. Junbai and me, but in fact, nothing happened. My first time was with D. Hao Yin. Wamale looked at Tang Bao with a changed expression. Only D. Hao Yin and I know about this. No, only D. Hao Yin, who hasn't lost his memory, knows about it. In other words, even if you tell the young Master D, he won't believe your words because it sounds like a lame excuse to me. Moreover, if the young Master D investigates, he will only be more convinced of your lies because no one knows the truth. You didn't even tell me, let alone anyone else. What should I do? Tang Bao had a headache. She felt that her relationship with Di Hao Ian was getting better. How had it become like this all of a sudden? How would Di Hao Ian feel after knowing about this? Would he want to kill her? Would he want to divorce her immediately? Tang Bao, you must think of a foolproof plan. Wamale was anxious. It's best to think of a way to see the young Master D after you come out. Tang Bao looked at Wan Malay helplessly and said, "A foolproof plan? I can't even think of a half-foolproof plan now. Why don't I ask Di Junbai to help me? It's like fighting poison with poison. Let Di Junbai tell Di Haotian that I'm innocent with him. Don't you think it's a bit like admitting to what you're trying to hide?" Wan Malay asked. Tang Bao's head fell heavily on the table with a bang. Wan Malay felt that her head was hurting. Tang Bao looked as if she couldn't feel the pain. Her watery eyes were opened blankly. What else could she do? Only she, Di Hao Ian, and Di Junbai knew about this. Other than asking Di Junbai to help her explain, what else could she do? Actually, if there's really no other way, it's not impossible, Wan Malay said. What do you mean? Tang Bao looked up at her expectantly. Anyway, when you go back, you'll have to explain to the young master what happened at that time. Why don't you ask Di Junbai to explain it again? Tell him the details and how he had no choice. Tang Bao felt that her mind was in a mess. Forget it. I'll call Di Junbai first to inform him. When Di Haotian asks him to explain clearly and don't say anything for me. Tang Bao picked up her phone and called Di Junbai. The other party picked up quickly. Di Junbai's gentle voice came through. Why did you think of calling me? Brother Junbai, Di Haotian knows about what happened between the two of us in the villa. Are you nervous about this? It's fine. Don't you know in your heart? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.